Testing audio. Testing. Oh, let's see. Just gonna adjust a few things. Oh wow, tracking is no longer working. Let's see if we can fix that. There we go. Let's see. I always have like troubleshooting issues as soon as I immediately start. Alright. Testing. Alright, that's good enough. Alright, I'm a bit nervous to do this. This is going to be a lot of me wall talking, a lot of me talking to myself, ultimately, but something that I feel like I really need to do for myself and for anybody that might need a bit of advice or comfort in what they may be going through. So, I didn't really think about how I would talk about this or how to go about it, but I guess I'll just talk about my experience ultimately. I have a Google document. It was my very first Beware that I had made on a specific artist. But ultimately, I really just want to talk about my experience and all with the art community, with learning trade lingo like UFO, UFS, or offer to adopt, stuff like just terms that you don't really think about when you're communicating with people. So, like I said, no script, nothing. Just gonna go about my experience when I first started to interact with the art community. Maybe that'll kind of help me move on in a way. So, where to start? Off to the left here, I will be going over a Google document that I made. Yeah, this is this is kind of a story stream. I just kind of want to talk about my experience with the art community, like what led me here today. I'm not really an anybody. I'm pretty much a nobody, but I've heard common experiences in the art community that I kind of would like to talk about a bit, maybe. So I just wanted to talk about it, kind of like a lore video, or wall talking, if you will, to cope. I'm quite old. I'm a bit of a boomer, to be honest. When I first got into the art community, I was very young. There wasn't really access to tablets like everybody could, but I had a like cool art class that had like 4 tablets that people could use, and that was like my first experience being able to do art. I was very traditional, so I would just, pen to paper, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Art as a career was not really a reality. It was very much a taboo. So I didn't really think that there was a possibility that I could pursue it. A lot of self-doubt, especially. TLDR. I dealt with a lot of bullying back then. A lot of bullying and a lot of facing your own mirror, especially in art. You constantly are your worst critic. So ultimately, due to external experiences as well as my own, I gave up art for a long time. But before I know it, years have passed, I blink, and it just is blowing my mind how big the community grew, how more common it was to see digital art, how often people were able to get a hold of the technology to be able to make digital art, iPads, tablets, all that stuff. Kind of blew me away. I never thought that it was a possibility to be your own entity in a way. So like, a lot of people were able to make their own characters, their own stories, their own lore, if you will. It was very foreign to me. I didn't know that I could literally reach out and buy a character or have a character designed and it'd be mine. Like, it's not something I thought was a possibility. Um, so uh, during the past few years, like, I was kind of battling with myself on identity and expressing myself on multiple platforms, such as like VR chat, Second Life, all that stuff. You make your own characters, but you don't really consider them their own entities. It's just a form of expression, like IMV, Guy Online, all that stuff. But ultimately, in 2023, I had made the choice that I had wanted to become a VTuber. I wanted to spread awareness and also express myself in a way that I couldn't in real life. I couldn't really be on camera and all that stuff. Like, it was a lot of nerves related to that. TLDR, essentially. Well, not that you're reading. Um, I just wanted to be myself in a way and express myself without fear. And having a mask on was ultimately my goal to do so. So, that is my intro. When I approached this, I didn't know much about the art community. I just knew that it existed, that it was big, and that there was multiple ways you could go about it. There's no, how do you express it? There's no guide, really, on how to do it. So there's multiple platforms that you can look at when you're debating on who to work with. There's like Facebook. Obviously, don't use Facebook. But there's a lot of wonderful artists and people on that platform. That was what I was used to. DeviantArt. There's new things like VGen. There's Twitter. There's all kinds of ways that you can discover somebody that you would like to work with. ArtStation. What is it? Level 80. different ways. And so it kind of gives you a whole world, essentially, of, okay, how do I work with somebody and bring something to life? Better way to express it. And the unfortunate thing about the art community is you have to vet your own sources. You can never really know if somebody is vetted, like try and true, somebody you can rely on and trust to bring your project to life. And this is something that I learned the hard way multiple times within the community, especially. So I did my best to vet somebody. I saw, oh, hey, this specific person. Well, when I first started, I commissioned 3 artists. 3. One was named Revision or Mochi. She has absolutely stunning pinup and like bimbo-esque vibe when it comes to her art. She's well known, renowned on Twitter and Instagram, etc. I thought that I could definitely trust her, and so I commissioned her for a VTuber, and that went well. She took her time. She worked with me every step of the way, and it was a wonderful experience. I found her, I believe, on Twitter, and that was a good experience. The other artist I worked with goes by the name Kyuko. She's also absolutely wonderful to work with. And I actually found her through a pre-made VTuber that was posted on Etsy. Multiple platforms you could find people. It's a bit nerve-wracking because you're taking a gamble to see if this person could be trusted. She was also absolutely wonderful to work with. Was very communicative and just walked me through each of the steps that they were making. Just a wonderful experience. Then the third person that I worked with was the most expensive, surprisingly. Now, this is where I started to get into hiccups of not knowing what I'm looking at and just seeing a wall of promises and thinking that that's right, that's accurate. So there are artists that are considered just adopt artists. And what exactly does that mean? You go to somebody's like Twitter, Instagram, or whatever page that they are advertising themselves are, and they have a lot of designs that they sell that are just one-offs. They host an auction for it. You can bid to adopt it. And they're pretty well known for just being a character designer, which in its own right is absolutely astounding. I did not know that at the time. Like, there's nothing wrong with adopt artists, especially. They're wonderful individuals, and sometimes you'll have amazing experiences interacting with them for commissions. But it's something to be wary of. So, if you're seeing like, oh, this person's not taking a lot of they take a lot of commissions, but I'm not seeing a lot of their commission results. I'm not seeing the customs that they're doing all the time. I'm seeing more of a here's another adopt, here's another character creator, or I'm sorry, design, and this is what they do best. It's something to consider before commissioning them. Not everybody is like that, but usually you can witness the work that they do ultimately. So that is something to be aware of when I talk about this next part. So I went ahead, reached out, I looked at their card, which a lot of artists nowadays have. It's kind of like a MySpace, introducing themselves as XYZ123, this is what I do, here are my services. I went to their card and I looked at their commission menu and commissioned a huge package from them. At the time, just spending even like $30 on something custom was like expensive as heck to me personally. I wasn't yet tempered into the okay, yeah, I could just drop a bag and get something. I spent 1K with them in total. It was for a huge package. In fact, let me pull up exactly what that package was, because it would help to talk about. Alright. Let's see. Okay, so for 1K, it was a Vtuber package. They were going to give me one full body Vtuber, unrigged. Oh, well, not. It was supposed to be rigged. One Vtuber, a chibi version of the same character, an asset combo for the Vtuber that was thematic to like a Kiwi theme, which included desktop, gaming chair, microphone, plushie, and there was a button package I did, so 6 buttons to put on my pages, like so donate or Twitch. I'm sorry, I'm really kind of slow on this one. Discord, about me, just random buttons that you see on streamers' pages. I wanted 6 of them, which was a part of the package. Later on, I had commissioned some icons and headshots as well, badges for the channel as well. And a full banner illustration, and 2 reference sheets of this character as well. So essentially, I was giving them the gold mine, like, hey, I want you specifically to be the mother of this design, and the package, if you will. That is, now that I can look back, that is a lot of work to put on just one person. And what I would say in advice when commissioning people, it's best to commission one thing at a time. Unless you know that this person is a goat and can get it done and not burn out. Commission one thing at a time. It helps them, and it also motivates them to keep working, because when you give them a big lump sum of cash, it's quickly spent as it is got, and you lose motivation to do the work later, especially if it's going to take a couple months to get something done. So that is a retrospective of that. But as I was saying, essentially, pretty big package that I had commissioned this artist. And I was completely excited. I felt like I had vetted their page and was extremely excited to work with them. So now I'm going to pull up my document and just go over it. And this isn't going to be an experience that you will have often. It's just something to be wary of. So I'm not really going to talk about the specific name of the person anymore, as there is a video about this as well. I initially was thinking about reacting to it, but I think I would just rather go through my document and talk about my experiences, not just with this artist, but many artists in the community over the last couple years. This started in 2023. So, just going to go through this. You're probably not going to be able to see much of it, so I will read as much as I can. Alright, buddy. I'm a bit nervous about this. Okay, so I will read and express. I need a moment to brace myself for that. I'm like, yeah, I need a moment. It spends 2 seconds just breathing. Okay. Let me hide the name, I guess. Okay, so in introductions, it is with a heavy heart and a deep sense of guilt that I write this. For months, I have been contacted by previous and current clients, friends, and fellow artists, many who are frustrated on my behalf, urging me to finally speak out. After much hesitation, I feel like it is time to share my experience with said artist. While I have received some of my commissioned artwork, I have not received all of it. Getting updates has been an exhausting process requiring constant follow-ups and persistence. Given that others have faced similar issues, I feel compelled to disclose everything that has transpired between me and this person. I feel incredibly guilty because I've never wanted it to come to this. The last thing I wanted is to spark a witch hunt or be the reason someone feels low, targeted, or treated like garbage, or essentially become a bad client in their eyes. But at the same time, I am human, I have emotions, I have struggles, and I did everything I could to be treated as priority, just as I prioritize paying them upfront for their service. This is also my first time writing a document like this, and I'm deeply conflicted about doing so. I also recognize my own shortcomings in this situation. This is one of the first times I commissioned an artist, and I was inexperienced. I didn't fully understand the lingo, the transactions, how to protect myself. I just genuinely believed I could trust this artist as a human being to deliver, and gave them the benefit of the doubt time and time again. I ask for understanding, as my intentions were never to cause harm, only to seek fairness. So a summary of what I was essentially expressing is, you never want to be a part of drama. You never want to post something that could cause somebody to feel bullied or hurt or essentially not given fair treatment. So when I first initially commissioned this person in 2023, I spent like years working with them, going back to back, seeing them post the struggles that they were going for. It tugged at my emotional strings, if you will, and I didn't want to be the reason that they completely had a full crash out. And over the course of the last 3 years, I was going back and forth with friends, with clients, and artists that I was getting more familiar with as I learned more about the art community. I was starting to become aware of, this is feeling like a scam, this is not feeling like how it should be, it's taking way too long, and I have nothing to really show for what I'm waiting for. And not just with this artist, but with other artists I had reached out to commission. I started to learn, who can be trusted, who can't really be trusted. You would commission somebody for a project, they would take months to get back to you, or they would continue to take on commissions but never really communicate with you. And I was starting to get used to the flow of, okay, well, who the heck can I trust? Like, is this normal? Is it normal that I commission something and it takes like 6 months to get anything? No, it's not. And I kind of I don't know how to really express my confliction there. You want to support small artists, you want to support just people in general, but who can you really trust? So I was struggling with a lot of that. I haven't really had too many positive experiences with commissioning. And even now, I'm still not sure how to go about it. Like, who can I go to that is, ethical, quick with it. I'm extremely patient, to be honest. So you could take a whole year as long as you just send me an update here and there. That's fine. Of course, I would love it, ASAP. But life is life when it comes to creation. So yeah, a little trailed off there a bit. So my first initial experience with commissioning of this artist, I was excited to start my journey into VTubing. So I did my best to find an artist who was trustworthy, reliable, and had a strong portfolio of designs. I discovered this artist on multiple platforms and reached out to her via Facebook. That was what I was most familiar with. And at the time, she had made a pre-made VTuber model that was for sale. It was a carrot girl. I found her on DeviantArt, and I was like, "Holy heck, that is so so cute!" Which made me feel confident and that she could bring my design to life. Because my name is Kiwi. I wanted a Kiwi themed setup, and I was like, you know what, this is perfect. Reached out. I considered 3 different artists for my project and ultimately commissioned all 3. I'm very kind of indecisive in a way. I was just like, you know what? I trust you all. Let's do this. Let's get it going. So I commissioned all 3 of them. Among them, this specific artist, as I said, was the most expensive, but I chose to support them in making my dream a reality. Now that I'm more experienced with art commissions and community transactions, I've come to realize that, as I said before, this artist in particular operates primarily as a professional adoptable artist, rather than a commissioned artist. So, once again, going over those details, adopt artists often produce multiple character designs very quickly, sometimes releasing 4 or more every week or 2 for sale, and it is off the market instantly. One and done. In contrast, commission work is either significantly delayed or rarely delivered, as their main source of income comes from selling adopts only. So what you'll notice, you'll go to their page, it's like nothing but character design, and you're like, holy heck, can you design me something? But you're seeing auctions. You're not saying, hey, this is a commission for XYZ, or hey, here's a banner I did for XYZ. It is just character design alone for sale. That's the difference between a commission artist and an adopt artist in my eyes, I've noticed. Okay, so on 09/06/2023, I reached out to this artist about commissioning a VTuber model. She had responded stating that she was working on a few orders at the time, and I was understanding of that as well. I had reached out later, or at a later date on the 19/09/2023, regarding an adopt that she had for sale. It was this really sick spider design. And I was like, holy heck, okay, imagine, I could be a spider. Wow. I don't know why I thought that would be cool, but I was getting into the, let me buy a character, holy heck, wow, this is my character, whoa. And I reached out regarding that. We worked out the details. Our conversation naturally shifted to discussing the possibility of me commissioning her a VTuber model based on the adopt. So based on the Spider Girl, I was like, can this become a VTuber? Is that an option? At first, this was a definite positive experience. She was willing to accommodate a payment plan, which I had needed at the time, which meant a lot to me as someone new to this type of transaction world view of dropping like 2 whole PS5s on art, which definitely helped me in the long run. Red flags started to appear when she requested that I send payments via friends and family. At the time, I didn't know the difference between this and goods and services, nor did I realize that sending payments this way would leave me without buyer protection in the event of a scam. I simply trusted that what she told me. Unfortunately, this was my first major mistake of our future transactions. So, this is a complete fail on my part. I'm an idiot. I will admit this. I trust people way too much. When someone says, hey, can you send me a payment like this versus that, I do it because, like, I think they're going to be good to me. Like, I'm giving you a lot of money, you know. But in the long run, professionally, that is such a bad thing to do. Don't ever do that. If you're, and I've noticed a lot of artists in the smaller communities do this. They'll ask you to pay via PayPal, and they'll ask you to send it as friends and family to avoid fees and to also have the money readily available to them. When you're doing this as a career, with PayPal especially, they lock your account a little bit. They make you earn monthly brackets to ensure buyer protection safety. Because in the bigger scale, this does cost a lot of money. So if there's a lot of chargebacks, it costs the big company a lot of money. But they have a goods and services option, which protects your product. It protects the owner, and it protects the creator. So if somebody is trying to bypass that and ask you, hey, can you pay friends and family? Just know that if they decide they don't want to do your work, there's nothing you can really do about it. You can't get your money back. You can't fight it. You kind of are just stuck there. That was my biggest mistake, is just trusting that they meant well and bypassing this. This is fraudulent behavior. So I went with friends and family, and I regret that. We have a lot of communication going on here. I will read it exact as well and just express. Let's see. I'm asking because I was also interested in VTuber design, so I was wondering if you offered payments on that as well, if approved to an auto-buy payment of this design in particular. I was talking about this spider adopt that I wanted to convert into a VTuber. I wanted to AB her and talk about making her a VTuber. She replied, hello, adoptable payment plans are available for AB for 50/50 or 25 times 4. So 4 payments of that percentile. For VTubers, I also have payment plans. For VTuber payment plans, you can tell me approximately how much to pay, weekly or bi-weekly. And yes, it is perfectly an option as long as there is security. And I replied that I get paid on the 22nd. It wouldn't be an option to do so then, right? I was asking, can you put a hold on this character and then I pay on my payday? Which is something common that happens in the adoptable community, I've noticed. And she agreed that she would hold the character and consider payment plans for the bigger picture project. I replied here what I would be able to do, and then I started talking about the package that I wanted to commission from her for VTubing. Next screenshot. All of these characters are delivered once all the payments have been made. That is, if you pay for the character, once the payments are completed, the PNGs would be sent first, and the VTuber would be started once paid, which absolutely understand. Hello, Tragic Miracle. I replied, perfect. I'll shoot to try to get the VTuber paid quicker. Once I'm in the clear next month, I can do bigger payments and get her done. Thank you so much again. What payment platforms do you use? PayPal, Cash App, or etc.? She stated that she uses PayPal. If you remove the character, you must press YCH to close the auction. So, in this, what she's saying here, I was buying the commission or the character from YCH Commissions. It is a platform known for getting adopts, essentially. And let me actually pull this up for you. Hold on. YCH Commissions. This is actually one of the artists that I worked with, Revishin Mochi. She did one of my VTubers. Absolutely astounding to work with. But this is an example of the page here. So they have their little profile, it's a little social feed, and they sell characters here. So if you go to the main page, there's a lot of characters for sale, commissions for sale, etc. But this page doesn't have a lot of protection, so be very wary and aware when you are on this site, I've learned. So once you purchase and adopt, they put you in communication with the artist, and you submit your payment, and they give you what you paid for. If it's a commission, that you have to go back and forth before you are essentially done with a deal. That's why I say you got to be wary and vet these, because these are all individual and like people. It's like eBay for art. You got to be careful. What am I reading? I'm trying to go over the experiences that I've had since 2023 in the art community. Starting off as a boomer in the field, not knowing how to commission people and learning the hard way what not to do. And I kind of just wanted to go over a Beware document that I made regarding a huge scam that happened. Ultimately, me paying in like about 1,300 for a huge VTuber package and leaving with 3 items, and a friendship that was just destroyed. That's what I'm going over. I kind of wanted to create an informational because a lot of people that are like me don't know too much about this kind of stuff. We put our hopes and dreams into a person, believing them, and you know, if you know, you know. So I kind of wanted to make a quick, scuffed, hey guys, don't do this, as well as cope in a way and talk about my experience. Alright, back. So, she was essentially asking me to AB the adopt on commissions to close out the auction, which I proceeded to do. No problem. And then she said, a few days later, I will confirm about the character unless you write to me first. I usually make that reminder. I said, perfect. May I have your PayPal info as well? She gave me her PayPal and stated that it was her husband's PayPal, which, you know, that's fine. We live. I said, as soon as I get paid, I will reach out to you and send the money over. Thank you again for being willing to work with me. I was ecstatic. She said, don't worry, although it is necessary to close the character auction since somebody else bid, since it lasts 24 hours. So in the event that somebody ABs the character, you know, you want to AB it first. I said, okay, I think I was able to do the AB option on the YCH page and asked her to confirm, and she did. So we did some back and forth here. I paid her for the character. And I like to send screenshots of proof of payment. It was my form of, I gotcha, definitely give me what I paid for. And she, I believe, let's go to the next part. She stated that since the funds were temporarily withheld, she suggested refunding the payment and having me resend it as friends and family through PayPal. Alternatively, I could wait for the money to be released to her account before receiving the design. At the time, I thought, well, okay, maybe this is fine. Wanting to be helpful and ensure that she received the money quickly, I agreed to the refund and resent the payment as friends and family as requested. Looking back, this was a huge mistake. I genuinely believe that I was just speeding up the process, making things easy for the both of us. No big deal, as I thought. Like a summary of that, I had paid as goods and services because I thought that was, you know, what you were supposed to do. She stated, oh no, oh no, they held the payment. I'm at my monthly limit. Can you please, like, okay, I can't send you your character until it releases a few days later. Otherwise, I can have you I can refund it to you and you send it to me as friends and family and I get it right now. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, okay, that's fine, because I didn't want you to have to, like, wait for your money. You've worked hard. You know, I will do that. Bad idea, don't do that. Don't do that. It breaks TOS. It's not what PayPal is there for. They have to wait, and I should have been patient as well. So I will read what she stated here. Some of the money was withheld since apparently I already exceeded PayPal's monthly limit. Normally, when that happens, they can also pay for friends and family, so the money get released immediately and not have to wait 48 hours for each payment. If you like, I can refund the payment and send it via friends and family if that's not too much trouble. You can subtract the payment commission. I know they charge for this, and I'll send it right now with the PNGs. Or you could just wait until 48 hours later, and I will release for you to release the money from the summary, and I will be able to send the PNGs then. And I said, that's okay. I don't mind waiting. Oh yes, actually, if I can get you the money quicker, refund it and send it back as friends and family, As a friend, I'm hoping to make us both, it doesn't make us both wait if we do that, though. I was essentially like, I don't mind waiting, but I don't mind also helping you at the same time. And she said, I would need your email to send the adopt. I already refunded the money. So essentially before I completely confirmed it, just sent it back. So I had to send it back to her. I sent her another screenshot showing her that I paid it via friends and family. She stated she received it, and then she sent me the adopt over. On 09/29/23, I reached out about another adopt that was for sale, asking if it could be placed on hold. Unfortunately, it had already been sold. However, this conversation led to her asking if I was still interested in proceeding with the Vtuber deal. I confirmed when I would be able to make a payment, and we began discussing the concept. Admittedly, I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted at first. The concept changed a few times, but she was very patient and willing to work with me throughout trying to figure that out. She originally quoted me for $1,330 for the entire package, but offered a discount, bringing the price down to $1,200, $1,150. Ultimately, I paid $1,000 flat, and I came back later and paid for some more commissions on top of that, so it was about like $1,300 in total. The pricing I referenced was based on her art package listed on her card. So her card, full VTuber, $700, asset combo, 65, backgrounds, 85, buttons, 30. I thought that was a pretty good deal, and I also did the Kiwi, which was, I forget, where is it? I forgot. Let me look. The Chibi was a couple $100s. I'm trying to find it. We've got the reference sheet, all of the menu here. So the full body VTuber rigged, $700, and the Chibi VTuber $430 rigged as well. Was that my teams? Yes. Yeah, my teams is going off as well. I'm multitasking. I work night shift, so I was just like, since I'm working, I might as well, you know. So the conversation, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's always going off in the nightlife. Conversation. I asked her if she could do a hold on Melody, which was a character that she had posted for sale. And she stated that it had sold. We started, as I said, talked about the VTuber details. The conversations are here if you want to read them. I'm going to skip over this and go to the next part. So, the payment agreement and growing concerns. I requested to pay $1,000 flat since I was short on funds at the time. It was like my entire check, essentially. It was like, hey, all I need is ramen noodles. Would you be willing to just take this bulk? And we could call it even. And she agreed, which I genuinely appreciated. I also knew that she was expecting a child at that time and had an upcoming surgery due to a post she had made, and what she expressed to me. So I wanted to be patient and respectful of her recovery, as well as help her in a way. I was like, here, take 1K. That should be perfect, right? However, as time passed, my concerns began to grow. She was posting 4 or more fully rendered adopts almost every week to every 2 weeks, while providing little to no updates on my commission, as well as posts taking on more commissions while I was still waiting for just a sketch. The lack of communication combined with the fact that I had paid through friends and family left me feeling very nervous and without buyer protection. So I got increasingly more uncomfortable the more that I saw another 4 adopts posted, fully rendered. And it was wild. She has amazing art. I will say that right now. So I'm like, the fact that you took all that time to make that fully rendered adopt and 4 of them at the same time. Can I have a sketch? Well, what's going on? So the chargeback and her response. I still feel like crap doing this, and I still do feel like crap. I didn't express to her, like, hey, I'm getting uncomfortable, what the heck is going on? And when I did, it was more like oh, well, I have a life outside the computer. I'm taking care of stuff. I don't really check often. I'll get to you when I get to you type energy. I charged back in, I believe, January to February is when I did that. I had commissioned her in 2023 around 09. and had waited a few months with just seeing nonstop adopts. So that's when that happened. Eventually, I felt like I had no choice but to file a chargeback. My hope was that this would either push her to finally prioritize my commission or at least allow me to recover my funds at the time. In response, she quickly spent 2 to 3 hours putting together a full illustration of my Vtuber, which, if you're familiar with making a Vtuber, that's kind of insanely fast, dude. Which, I mean, more power to you, but there was so many room for error for it to not be fully optimized for rigging. So in the end, it was poorly sliced, it was unrigged, and it was submitted as proof that she had done my work, effectively closing the case against me. But then she suddenly changed her stance on wanting me to cancel the chargeback to wanting me to pursue the chargeback, because essentially she had the PayPal that she was using had multiple flags on it, and they were just going to close it close the account essentially. So she was like, actually, it would benefit me if you did get the money back and just send it to a new PayPal. Not a good thing. She suddenly changed her stance and suggested that if the chargeback actually went through, I could resend the money to a new PayPal account to help her out. I regretfully agreed, but deep down, I was losing faith that I would ever receive my work. So essentially at this time, I was placating. I was like, all right, I will do anything you tell me to do as long as you give me my work. And if you don't, I mean, in the end, it benefits me because I get my money back, essentially, was the end result and goal. So incomplete and stretched out deliveries. Over time, she did provide to me some assets. She gave me a banner, a chair, a microphone, and a UI for streaming, as well as a surprise pet. So one moment, let me pull this up to show you. If it's still there. Alright, yes they are. So these are the assets that she did deliver to me. It's some of the project, but not entirely all of my project. Please ignore that I have not paid my bills. So I will pull this up. Here's the chair. So the thing that upset me about the interaction here is she would send me a sketch and then the final result. I had no input on it. It was just like it felt like, here, look, I'm doing it. After like maybe 3 months between communication, she would send me something and I'd be like, great, awesome, I got something. So this was a Kiwi chair, cute, but I didn't have any input on it at all. She made this dog for me as a gift. I didn't commission for a pet, but I absolutely adored it. It was really nice. This is the UI. Once again, no input, just dropped it on me and was like, here you go. And I was like, cool. Awesome. Same here, another UI. A microphone, same thing, no input on any of this stuff. Here's a microphone and the UI with a cutout. This is also the Vtuber that she did in like 2 to 3 hours. There is a lot of layers with different pieces on it. So it's like if you wanted to actually rig this, you would have to go in and you would have to manually put them on different layers, which once again, if you take the time, that's not a problem. It was just frustrating for me having to wait so long for such little effort when I was working with somebody like Mochi, and she spent 5 months just constantly perfected everything. Same with Kyuko, months just constantly perfecting everything. It was a different experience and I wasn't happy in the end. So that was what I had. However, the massive gaps in between updates drained all excitement from the project for me. The slow trickle of assets combined with my growing doubts made it hard to feel any satisfaction. At this point, I was desperate and clinging on any hope of receiving something even remotely close to what I had originally paid for. You will see in the following screenshot how I tried to navigate the situation, balancing my frustration and willingness to go along with things just to avoid losing everything. Now, when I say that, she was making posts on Facebook basically complaining about clients and stating, oh, people are being mean, they're bad clients, and if you upset me, I'm just going to skip your commission and work on somebody else's. If you're not patient, I'm going to work on somebody else's commission. And a lot of that lingo was like, oh shit, am I in trouble? Like, please don't skip me. um, and so that's kind of like why I was getting concerned over time as well. All right, so where are we here? We were talking about the character design, and I wanted to doodle the character concept myself to see if she could come up with something based off my interpretation, like a mood board for the character, if you will. I just knew I wanted something Kiwi themed, very edgy, etc. And she was willing to do that. I also said here on 10/18/23, I just got paid. I can send my first payment over. She said, sorry for asking, but is there a possibility of paying for friends and family? PayPal is currently withholding my money, not counting the enormous commission it charges when receiving the money. If you deduct it from the payment, they will charge less. If not possible, I don't have a problem either, except that you would have to release the funds in approximately 48 hours. I hope not to bother. And I said, actually, gonna be honest, would you be willing to do the whole project at 1,000 flat instead of 1,115? If so, I can send that amount over right now, and I can send it as friends and family, as I trust you. I kind of just want to send you my whole check. That was my ultimate mistake. She said, oh, that could help a lot too. Thank you very much for the trust, and I can accept it if that is okay with you. And I just asked for confirmation, agreeing on the rate, and I sent her the full 1K to the PayPal she specified as friends and family. She said she received it. Thank you so much. If there is no problem with that, the more ideas, the better. I make my work, it makes my work a lot easier. I just stated that I would send a lot of mood boards and stuff for her to decide, and I sent her over some like little Kiwi assets, logos that I was coming up with, and that was that. Struggles with communication and second guessing myself. As you will see in the following screenshots, there were many unsent messages, a reflection of my internal struggle throughout the process. I would draft my messages asking for updates, trying to discuss details, only to second guess myself, delete them, and wait instead for her to respond on her own time. I didn't want to seem pushy or demanding at the time, especially knowing her circumstance, but as the weeks stretched into months with little to no communication, my patience turned into anxiety. I was stuck in a cycle of hesitation, questioning whether I was being unreasonable or simply being taken advantage of at that time. Ultimately, I just wanted clarity, consistency, and the work I had paid for, but that became increasingly difficult to hope for. And these are the following interactions of that. So I sent a couple messages just being like, hey, this is my idea, and then silence, just silence. She would post another 4 fully rendered adopts, another post for commissions, doesn't reply to messages. So I'm like, okay, well, is this a dumb idea? Okay, well, let me delete it. Let me try again. And that was the back and forth here. So I left this post up. I have finished the sketch of what I am aiming for. I am so sorry for taking so long. I also sent a mood board of the different concepts I was looking at. Thank you for being so patient, and I truly hope your surgery goes well. The total concept was a black, green, white hair, light and dark concept of this character design. 2 of the light and dark variations of the hair for the big Vtuber, just dark hair for the chibi. Brown skin with hints of black fur pattern is entirely up to you. 2 tails, one black, the other white. Just essentially giving her a Kiwi coded concept for her to work with. And then I sent her references. So these unsent messages were actually a ton of images that I was sending of different mood boards and stuff. And there wasn't really any communication there. Here's the sketch that I did as well for this. Commission another project for a badge of my characters together and the VTuber Ghost Girl concept. So ultimately, because I wasn't really getting any sketches or any visual of my ideas, I was bouncing back and forth and was like, all right, how about a Ghost Girl? Like, just easy. It's easy, right? Like a ghost girl concept. And then I had this weird Kiwi concept as well. As you can tell, I didn't have too much confidence in my design at all. And she asked if this was the character. I said yes, and she asked if it was for a badge or a headshot. I just wanted a badge of them, and essentially added on to the commission list, if you will. In this ideal, I'll talk about this too. You feel like paying this person more money will incite them to actually work on your stuff and give you an update. You're like, hey, it's been like a couple months and I haven't gotten anything I paid for. I saw that you posted a commission list. Can I commission you again? Maybe kind of give you a little extra incentive to work. Bad idea. Don't do that. Like I said, when you commission somebody, commission one thing at a time. It's a lot better for you in the long run. It prevents you from overloading an artist in the end as well. So I just tacked on some more projects here for commissions. And then I decided, okay, well, since I'm not getting any updates on my design at all, I maybe it's just too complex. I decided to give her a completely all-white design to work with. Just all white, dude. And so I gave her this and said, here, let's just go with this character. Here's a visual. Stick to that. Run for the hills. Go for it. She stated that she was very cute, and thanked me for the wishes. I was wishing her well during her recovery and surgery. I asked if I could send the money, and again, I sent it as friends and family. At this point, I had become accustomed to sending payments as friends and family, still believing that I would eventually receive my work. I reassured myself by watching her post multiple adopts weekly, and thinking that if she's actively creating, then my project must still be in progress. I'm definitely going to get it. Like, she's on the move. However, as time went on and the lack of updates and communication made me increasingly uneasy, and I began to realize that while new artwork was consistently being posted, my commission was in limbo. I'm not getting anything. It doesn't exist. And this is just an image of a really weird image of a ghost girl. I don't know what I was trying to go for. It was kind of like an edgy emo, like Kiwi girl theme, but also ghost related, because it was my expression of being an introvert, hikikomori type individual. I work from home and all that stuff, so I was just like, I want something that is very much thematic on my no-lifer syndrome. So some more back and forth here. Despite having paid, I had prompted her to email me the adopt even 7 days of waiting for it at this point. I was still viewing the situation with rose-tinted glasses, giving her the benefit of the doubt, especially knowing that she was about to give birth and needed time to herself. So what does that mean? I had paid for an adopt, and she didn't send it to me. And I was like, hey, it's been a week. Hey, it's been 2 weeks. Can you, like, send me the freaking adopt, please? It's just an email. And she wouldn't do it. She would apologize, be like, oh, I forgot, or oh, I was away, and then send it way later. 11/07/2023. I received a message stating the file had been sent by mistake, or in other words, she was unable or unwilling to send me the correct files at the time. Eventually, she did email me the adopt I had paid for, but the delay and lack of initiative on her part to do so began making me concerned at that point. So this is just me going back and forth about this. She said the file was not intended to be sent, and I was like, what happened? What do you mean? She said, my internet is terrible and the emails don't go out. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, that's understandable. Would Google Drive work at all? Just an option. And then it took a few hours, and I stated I got the email. And I was talking to her about the all-white design, essentially, again. As more time passed on, without any sketches or updates, I found my desire for the original Vtuber design to completely shift. I was like, okay, what's taking so long? Is it hard? Was my idea dumb? Did I confuse you? Okay, how about this all white design? That's easy, right? I began exploring other character designs and adopts, and my focus naturally evolved. I decided to request a change of the character I originally chosen, opting for the new OC I had originally recently acquired at that time, which was the all-white design. And it was just like an albino, like Shiba type character. Mochi had also worked on a model for that as well. It took her a few days, weeks, months at times to respond to me, and during that time I noticed she was still actively uploading adopts and hosting auctions, as well as taking on other commissions. This only fueled my growing frustration, as it seemed like she had the time and energy to take on new projects, but was not prioritizing the work she had already been paid for. So in my mindset, I'm like, dude, I just gave you freaking 1K, holy flip, I gave you like 1,300, well, where's my stuff? And yeah, I see you prioritizing like a $30 commission over here instead. I'm like, what's going on? At least a sketch would be nice. So I went ahead and created a list of things that were owed to me, just to kind of be clear and have a point of reference for her as well. So all of the badges and reference sheets for the two characters would be wonderful. If you haven't started it yet, I wanted to change the focus on the characters, these characters instead, as the previous request was probably super confusing. Second guessing my design idea, because she was going to have to do a custom then these other projects for me. I was like, here's a pre-made design. Here's the list of what you owe me. Just completely focus on this character for all of these things. And that was the list of the menu that I had ordered with her. She had not replied to me for multiple days after. So I bumped and said, hey, I haven't had a reply since November. And it is currently December. I just want to make sure if everything is okay. And if you're doing well, congratulations on the young one, and I hope your recovery is going well. She said, sorry, I haven't been active. And I was like, that's okay, I hope all is well. A few days later, 12/22/2023. Hello, I would like to know the estimate of when you think you'll be able to start the project with me. I know I need to know for my own comfort as the distance is building, and I'm doing my best to be patient, but I would love to know a time frame if possible, or any update on things if things are rough right now. Essentially, I'm like, hey, you're not talking to me. A lot of time's passing by already. I don't have a sketch. I have nothing to work with other than your promise. I just want to know what's going on here. Or just, an update. Just send me like a little scribble, like anything. And once again, there would be days, weeks, and months of silence. Increasing anxiety and requests for a turnover time. I wanted a turnover time because I was set on, okay, I want to debut. I want to debut on a specific date. I need to know what that's going to be, especially for this type of project. So I was requesting that because I can't just throw it up in the air and just pop out like this cool anime chick. That's not how it works. I began reaching out more frequently as I started receiving responses like, I have not been active, with days of no communication in between her stating that. Then this started making me feel increasingly nervous about the status of my commission. Wanting to move forward, I decided to ask for a turnaround time so I could better plan my debut. The lack of clear communication was becoming more concerning, as I was unsure if I would be able to meet my goals without any solid updates on when to expect my Vtuber design to be completed. She said on 12/22/23, hello, Aiki. I will be starting your project approximately mid-January. Apologies if I don't respond frequently. The truth is I'm hardly using the phone since I'm delivering the last orders I have left and resting. Sorry if that's an inconvenience to you. In any case, for greater convenience, I can leave some sketches of some of the orders to start them on that date. But I would deliver them before the end of December to see what you think. I will be asking frequently, one by one, to check that the information is correct and does not confuse the drawings of each character. If it is not too much trouble, I'm still a little absent-minded and sometimes forget or confuse little things. So essentially stating, hey, I'm willing to do your projects per per project, so we'll focus on one at a time, and I'll ask you for details and ensure that I get it accurate when I work on it or when the time comes. I stated, that is 100% okay. I just wanted communication. Thank you so much for getting back to me, and I was a bit worried, and I would absolutely love progress pictures, etc. Any sketches would be greatly appreciated because I can visualize it. I can see it at that point. So yes, definitely send me a rough sketch for you to come back to later. And then a few days later, that was an entire week later, I said, hey hun, should I expect some sketches or are things tight? Because I just wanted a response. At this point, I had been waiting long enough that I expected at least some sketches or a work in progress update. I decided to prompt for any kind of update while still trying to remain understanding and patient. She eventually got back to me and was communicative, and while this situation was still far from ideal, I continued to appreciate the fact that she eventually responded. At this stage, I was holding on to the hope that things would move forward as expected. And once again, between all this, every week, another 4 fully rendered adopts. Another 4 fully rendered adopts. Oh, wow. Who are you? Bran! Okay. Alright, so we're just talking about the character again, and I was telling her to just focus on that specific character, that's it. And just talking about details about each of the projects that she was asking for. The unsent messages were a result of me struggling to fully describe what I wanted for the commission, so I do apologize for those gaps of communications there. Eventually, I decided it would be easier to focus on just one character to simplify things, just reestablishing that I was going to focus on this one albino character. So I kind of did at the time. I wanted a humanoid character. What I noticed about this artist-specific style, it wasn't too Western looking, like full-blown Western long snoot. It looked like an anime character in a way. So I wanted an albino, like anime, like character, if you will, like a puppy character. Me trying to be like, I'm not a furry, please. I'm not a furry, I promise. So that was the focus. Eventually, I decided it would be easier to focus on that one character. I chose to stick with the simpler design, and to be honest, she's all white, just a blank canvas in a way. So if I wanted to make my own edits, I could. This felt like it was the right direction for my project. During the period from 12/30, December 30th, to January 07, I continued to wait for updates in hopes that we can move forward with this new simplified approach. Reiterating goals and growing unease. At this point, I started to worry about language barriers. So I took the step to reiterate my goals clearly in one message, outlining everything that was owed to me. I know it was a lot to ask, but I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page and there was no confusion. After sending this, I went for a bit without any response, and the lack of communication started to put me on edge at this point. I was starting to feel like all I needed was a simple communication, just some updates, and everything could move forward smoothly. I could see that she was still online and actively posting like 4 to 5 adopts a week, which made the silence even more frustrating in between that. So on 01/03/2024, hey hun, do you think the turnaround time for this, when do you think the turnaround for this project will be? I would love to know how long it would take once we start, or how long it takes you to complete Vtuber projects, just for reference. She replied, 4 days later. Hey, hello. Sorry for not answering. I try to be as active as possible, but it's a bit difficult. I will try to answer as soon as I can. The project could take a long time due to the number of drawings. If you have an estimate of the time that you would would require, you can tell me, and I will try to adapt to that. Or if I could consider that it would take longer. I replied, hello, sweetheart. I would love to try to get my project done within 3 months, as I'm trying to debut at a certain date. I was working with 2 other VTuber artists, and the packages are pretty much wrapping up and almost done. So I was very much wanting to debut with everything together. If you would like to focus on working on the VTuber first before we can tackle the rest of the project later, that would be wonderful. But overall, very much would love an estimate so I'm not breathing down your neck or wanting to pull the plug so much. Basically starting to express, hey, I'm kind of wanting to call it quits on this. It's taking too long. And she said, could you make a priority list so you can, I can focus more easily? And I proceeded to do so. Setting a deadline and request for progress. Now I know, I decided to set a deadline of 3 months, which was 8 months total from payment, essentially. But 3 months to start for a VTuber, I knew was a tough ask, but I was not expecting anything else. I just wanted the VTuber only. And I wanted to give her a little bit of a burn under her bottom to kind of get things going at that point. Even if it took longer, at least I would have an update that I could see. So I was hoping to finally bring this to a close. I knew this was a tough ask given the long list of tasks still owed, but at this point I hadn't received a single sketch within the 8 months of commission. And I felt it was necessary to put some pressure on the situation and request updates. I wanted whips, or at least one VTuber to be completed at that time. I was already receiving progress from 2 other artists that I had chosen to work with, while nothing had come from this individual specifically. I knew a 3-month deadline was ambitious, but at that stage, I was just desperate for any sign of progress. The silence was making me increasingly nervous, while also knowing I have no protection. I can't get my money back. So I'm getting nervous. I went ahead, sent another update, basically just albino character with a little green highlight in their hair, tail, etc. And asked her if the TAT would be good for 3 months. She said, okay, between tomorrow and the day after, I have the sketch of the character without clothes. Then add the clothes. I don't remember what it was, and she asked to clarify it was the same girl. I stated that she has full freedom on the clothing. I'm not good for fashion. You could literally just throw me in a spaghetti strap dress, call it a day. I was like, you have full freedom. And I just basically expressed I just wanted like a gamer introvert type concept. Just go for it. She said, once you have the model, rig is the least important thing, although I would leave the VTube studio on your side and the app you will use to adapt it to your needs, which, okay. If I have artistic freedom for the costumes, that makes it a lot easier for me. If you have a style in mind, I can do it myself. Just back and forth here. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. I did not know that. I hope there's nothing else. Thank you for the warning. I'm so sorry. Offering solutions for rigging. At this point, I started to express that if rigging is a concern or causing delays, I was willing to arrange the rigging elsewhere. I now had somebody that I trusted to handle the rigging, and at this stage, all I needed was the art to move forward. That way, if rigging was causing any holdup at that point, we could just still make progress and ensure the project didn't get stuck. I had worked with another artist that was just absolutely astounding. She goes by Kyuko. She's the one who made this model that I'm currently using. And thank you so much for the warning. I completely spaced it. I'm so desensitized. I just see a design. I'm so sorry. Hopefully that doesn't cause issue. I was a bit a mess at this point. Constantly adjusting the priority sheet and hoping it would make things easier for her. I was trying different approaches to see if shifting the focus would help move things along or move forward smoothly. And I was genuinely just trying to be flexible and accommodating at this point to see if it would speed up the process. Okay, here we go. There's more of that. I finally get a whip on 01/14/2024. And I could finally see something. Now, I had waited since I had first commissioned them the year before. And this is the sketch that I get. First off, I'm happy I could see something. I'm happy. But I'm also so frustrated at the same time because I thought that the whip that I would get would be astounding, at this point. So I saw this and was like, you know what? I'm actually happy I see something. I can take this. I can use it. Thank you so much. and I asked her to just make adjustment and have the bangs cover her eyes. When I finally received something, I honestly broke down crying. It was a mix of relief and frustration. Progress was made, but I still felt it still felt so far from what I had envisioned. And on top of that, the amount of money involved weighed heavily on me. It was so much for me to spend at that point. I was deep in my feeling about the whole situation, and the emotional toil was starting to catch up to me at that point. She had posted another line of adopts, just astounding designs, and I had saw one that I had wanted, and asked her if I could do so. And we proceeded to do the payment as usual, friends and family. Now, there was a bit of pushback on this one. She said, well, I sent it as goods and services this time because I was no longer really willing to do friends and family because I was starting to become more aware that that was not okay within the community to do. So she said, the money was withheld. I went over the monthly limit. Not yet until February 1st. They are released in 48 hours. If you'd like, I can refund the payment and you can go through friends and family and deduct the commission. Since my PC was damaged, I must send it to be repaired to continue with the commissions. And I asked, what do you mean reduct the commission? Or basically reduct the fee it would cost to refund me. And she just clarified that. I would rather wait, as I was told it's not right to do services with under friends and family. I am so sorry to hear about your PC, and I hope it gets fixed ASAP. Are you wanting to put my commission on hold until further notice? I'm just asking for clarifications of TAT, etc. She said it would only be until I get a monitor or get a repair, since PayPal only allows the money to be released after 48 hours. And I was like, okay, that's not okay for me. Technical difficulties and growing more uncomfortable. 01/24/24, I started receiving messages about technical difficulties that were causing further delays and stress. Around this time, she was once again suggesting refunds and requested that I send payments back as friends and family only through PayPal. At this point, I was uncomfortable with that request going forward. I was being warned by other artists and people in the community that this is a very bad practice, and it's strongly advised against it. And I expressed my discomfort with this request only to be told that she would withhold the design until I complied. So essentially she was saying, okay, well, if you're not going to, sorry, I'm about to curse. If you're not going to send it to me as friends and family, I'm not sending you the adopt until I get the money in my account. And I'm like, well, that's not nice. So I stated here, it's against the TOS of PayPal as I am uncomfortable and need to be sure I will get the rest of the services of the commission. I would like to have these payments to protect myself, to be able, as good sent, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering now. I would like to have these payments sent as goods and services. Thank you for understanding. As I need to be able to protect myself if things go bad as well. I am wishing you the best of luck. It shows it'll be available by tomorrow, maybe the 1st at the latest. I will gladly wait until it clears for you to send me the files, but until my project is complete, I do not feel comfortable sending as friends and family going forward. I truly hope you understand. I really hope the computer situation gets better. I know it feels how it feels, so I hope it goes well. I am understanding, but as a client conducting business, I need to ensure my safety as well. As such, if these type of issues continue to pop up, I will have to pull out. I sent a lot of funds, and I don't want to worry. I'm so sorry, and I hope things get better. I'm sorry if that sounds bad. My fiance was wanting to ensure that I was okay. I also had my fiance helping me write this out at the time. It's like, this is what it is. The truth is, the only bad thing about sending them for services when they limit the accounts is that the person sending them must manually release the funds after 48 hours. This usually happens to me. I am not too sure what that meant at the time. She proceeded to start showing me the issues with her computer. She said, I have to get my laptop repaired since most of the files from the recent commissions are there, and it doesn't have an HDMI input. But I have the PNGs of some of the adoptables, both the ones I uploaded and have since still have to publish. Oh, my phone. I would send it directly. And yeah, dude. I was like, what? I currently use a laptop since, although I have a desktop PC since my laptop doesn't have much capacity, and it's soldered. So I can't put more capacity on it than when it comes with. After giving birth, I felt bad in my back and my hips, and I usually lie down, when I can to do a backrest on the desktop computer. Just essentially telling me what she's going through right now. Um, and I said, I'm so sorry to bother. I hope things get repaired quickly and goes with ease. I'm not sure what else to do, but wait until you let me know when everything is starting back up again. If you want to refund the 55, I can send it as friends and family, but I cannot send, if you cannot send the files for anytime soon, I'll just leave it as is and wait for the deposit, as you stated. As for the rest of the project, please keep me updated on when you will have a chance to start back up. She said, don't worry, I will send the files soon. As I receive the money, I will make the refund. If you receive the money, no need to refund. On my side, it says it should be there tomorrow. Thank you again. I was kind of being a bit cold here because I'm just like, okay, just let me know when we can start talking business again. Unfortunately, PayPal does not release the funds automatically, but whoever sends it must just repeating the same. I have to manually release the funds to you, and that doesn't work with PayPal. It just releases to you eventually. And she said, I made the refund a few seconds ago. She showed me proof of that, and I sent the money to her as friends and family again. Um, same. Sent it as FNF as requested. Received the email. Thank you so much. Let me know when you're able to start on the commission again. I am wishing you luck. She said, sure. I'll upload some adopts that I have in a folder. I don't upload every day because otherwise it marks it as spam and I don't have many sales. So what it sounds like she's telling me is she has a folder of pre-made adopts that she has made in advance and she just uploads them every week. Which I could believe maybe. Why not? Multiple people might do that. And I said, oh, I understand, hun. I'm looking forward to any art from you. You were my absolute favorite, so thank you again. She replied, as soon as the PC is repaired, I will continue. Since I have other commissions paused, they are already asking me for updates. It's kind of difficult to explain to everyone why they haven't been updated yet. I replied, I wish you the best of luck. I know it can be really stressful. I lost my computer before and I've been in the same spot, so please stay rested and hopefully everything goes well. This is the turning point and realizing that this is a pattern. As I said before, just every time I ask for something, same stuff. At this point, the whole situation left a sour taste in my mouth. Bouncing my experience off others only reinforced that I didn't feel completely comfortable with the situation, and I was now noticing that she was constantly posting fully rendered adopts on a weekly basis, which only added to my discomfort at the time. This is the beginning of the downward spiral of our communication here. On 02/09/2024, I was starting to realize that this wasn't a commission artist, this was an adopt artist. The consistent post of adopts paired to the gaps in communication made it clear that my concerns were valid. I started feeling guilty and wondering if I had rushed her at the time, but the mounting frustration and lack of progress was undeniable. So in between all of this communication, you just see a huge list of characters consistently being posted, and she'll just go offline immediately after. Same here. Some more. These are all fully rendered adopts. No communication. And I was like, okay, at this point, I get it. This is your bread and butter, but at some point, just send me a badge, a button, a whip, and I'll understand. I really would, but nothing was coming through, and it was starting to feel like I was getting nothing in return for my trust and my money. So I prompted her on 02/09/2024. Hey, sweetheart, I wanted to reach out and let you know what you would think if, sorry. to let you know if you think that you won't be able to finish the commission. If we can just convert it to 8 adopts that I would pick from an auto buy price to make up for the funds that I spent on the commission. I just wanted to give you an option in case you decided that would be a better option. So TLDR here. I was like, all right, it seems like you're not going to get the commission done and it's a little out of your way to do so. So since you post adopts nonstop and you have no issues with it, could I convert my commission to just a few adopts and call it good? I started to accept the situation at that point. I was feeling bad and I felt like I should just convert this to adopts. I'll pick some of the adopts as a form of credit and just be done with it. There was nothing to show for my 1K at this point, and it seemed like a way to walk away without feeling like I was completely screwed. I understand that it wasn't really realistic, but I figured it might be easier for her to complete these type of simpler formats quickly. Then I finally got an update. She sent me this. Like, wow, a whole month later and I got eyeballs. I'm sorry. Oh wow, your art never stops to amaze me. Thank you so much for the update, sweetheart. How are you doing? I hope your health is well. And it sounds like I sound so happy here, but I got the eyes and I was like, I cried. I was like, bro. Just, wow. Sorry if it's late. I usually sleep a lot. I'm under treatment for panic attacks. I suffer from involuntary agoraphobia, severe depression, and anxiety, but I try to keep up with work. It's a little complicated to live on comms and adopts at the same time. More recently, she was talking about her personal family, etc. Just essentially saying, hey, it's hard to live like this. I need to do adopts to live, but I also need to do your commission that you already paid for, but I still need money. That dilemma, if you will. It's kind of familiar when you're commissioning. Thank you regardless of giving me for giving me an update, sweetheart. I just wanted to give you an option just in case everything becomes too much pressure, as I know healing takes time. I'm so happy to see her eyes, and it means a lot to me that you were doing your best. And wow, I didn't know that you had I was talking about her personal life there. And she goes on to talk about her personal life. I want to skip over that. She said, I give a long TAT to be able to take moments of break. And sometimes there are other clients who do not understand this, and I end up altering the delivery lists because they want their commission extremely quickly or a refund, even though I don't. Otherwise, if I don't have anything pending, I can do things much faster. And I'm sorry if this is misunderstood. I'm not referring to you or anything like that. You've been very patient, but there are other people who really aren't. I'm getting, at this point, I'm getting so excited, but also hearing her out, I feel for her, and I'm feeling like shit and just wanted to be understanding. I'm like, oh, well, I hope I didn't become one of those people that made you feel like you can't live. I hate to hear that. She started sending me more updates, and this is all within a couple hours here. I understand. I just would love a firm finished TAT date, so I cannot keep pestering you so much. We can drop rigging the Vtuber altogether, as I can go to my friend and have it rigged. If you just want to focus on all of the art instead, otherwise I do not mind you rigging. I just want to make it easier on you to get things done while tackling the rest of your workflows. Thank you so much for the updates and explaining to me, hun. And I sent her the priority list again. She said, I know it looks a little strange, but that's because she's talking about the layering there. Establishing a timeline. Oh, okay, let me hide this. At this point, I wanted to know if she felt it would be when it would be done, so I wasn't constantly pestering her for an update. I need a timeline, especially for this. She sent me more updates. More updates. We're just going back and forth, and like I said, she did this in like 3 hours. I was like, wow, holy, you could work that fast? What the heck? At this point, we agreed to scaled down my massive list of requests and just focus on 3 custom designs and the 2 VTuber art pieces only, no rigging, as I would go to my trusted rig artist at that time. And she was okay. I was okay with that change, and I just hoped it would take some pressure off of her, especially as I could see her posts on Facebook at the time. She was feeling stressed, overwhelmed by the work, and she was talking about a lot of bad clients that were harassing her at the time. So I was just trying to make things easier. She sent me more updates, and then she sent me the PSD. And I was like, finally, I have something. I can send it to my rig artist. Holy heck. And I proceeded to do so. When I sent it to my rig artist, sorry, I'm trying to skip this. She told me that it was going to need major updates. Like, she could not rig it as is. She was going to have to go over it all and reslice everything, that it was done in a rush. And because of the layering type, it was good for a tweening model, but not good for a VTuber, because the layering was not really effective. So essentially, in order for me to use it, she was going to have to redraw it. And that upset me. Like, I had waited all this time just to get something that I can't really freaking use without paying somebody even more to use it at that point. So I crashed out at that point. And I'll just read what I stated here. I feel guilty about this, and I can't help but to feel like I was being unreasonable. The artist did try. She did give me an update. She even sent me a file, but my rig artist said it needed major adjustments because it wasn't sliced correctly. Ultimately, I was struggling with my own feelings in that moment, and with PayPal's chargeback deadline approaching of like 6 months, I started to panic. After waiting for 5 months only to receive something in February, I decided to file a case and try to get my money back at that time. In hindsight, I feel like I shouldn't have done that, especially after all the patience I had. I understood the artist was going through a lot, but 1K was on the line that I was probably not even going to get back. And comparing this experience with other VTuber artists that I was working with, I was really anxious, and I still feel very bad about it, essentially. I tried to file a chargeback, essentially. I was... I still feel bad about it, honestly, but it was so frustrating at that time as well. And it just felt like I gave you all this money just to, one, not be a priority. You give me something scuffed that I can't even freaking use. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. So that was that. She reached out to me and she said, sorry to bother. I just checked that you opened a case on my account. The truth is I don't understand what could have happened since I gave you the first VTuber unrigged. Sorry, but if there's a problem, I need it to be possible for the dispute to be canceled, since they can close my PayPal account, and I have withheld the 1,000 payment. That is, I will not be able to receive no payment even for adoptables since I have bills to pay. And she asked me for an update as well. At that moment, I was kind of being a bit of a dick here. She sent me a message on 02/26. I didn't reply until 02/28. I was like, hey, have a little taste of your own medicine. That was really rude of me. Then I sent her a crash out wall talk rant here. I said, hello, hun. In all honesty, I've been quite upset since January. I originally paid in October and was told the project would start a month after surgery, give or take. I understood that you needed time and had IRL things to tend to, but the months passed by and the distance of communication grew. I saw that you were still posting more and more adopts every week and requests for commissions without an update, as far as like taking more commission requests without updating me, essentially. I was told that there were many reasons on why this is, and I tried to be as patient as possible, so that you are so busy, just to be told that you were so busy and could not get updates or a TAT that I could depend on. The more adopts that were posted, the more restless I got, and I saw the latest post, you were still accepting commissions, and I still remembered being told that I was essentially having to wait because of the queue, and that, of course, the queue is being adjusted. So I stated, I started to feel like my project and money was not prioritized or appreciated. I changed so much about the project to make things as easy as possible, as you expressed that so much was going on in your life. I was not really happy to do so, but wanted to be as nice as I could be to get results. We communicate once, maybe twice a month, and on the day I said I'd rather cancel the project and take 8 or less adopts at full auto buy price, you got the VTuber done ASAP in 3 hours and then poofed again. I was happy to finally have it, but I was also upset that I couldn't get it rigged without paying someone else to do so, and the extra fees there. And since the time crunch would not work out as per your statements. My partner has been watching over the stress over this and has pushed for me to charge back. As over time, seeing all of the fully rendered adopts you've been posting, I just felt like I was not a priority and I did not mean much. And since I pretty much canceled most of my project anyway to make it easier and had huge lapses of communication, I did my best to pay for such a big project and to cut it down to sorry, I'm like stuttering. I did my best to pay for such a big project and to cut it down to something much smaller to make it easier, to make things easier. I ended up having to go to another artist and paid for the same package for even more money. I really love your art and I want to work with you, but I don't feel like I'm prioritized at all. Just reiterating, hey, I don't feel like you care about me, dude. I feel like you don't care about my project at all. And the moment I saw you were accepting more commissions while telling me that there would be delays, I had just had enough. My biggest gripe I had is I saw people that had $40 commissions in December getting stuff done before me, who paid in October, and that really unsettled me in January. So what I'm talking about here, somebody had reached out on one of her public complaint forums, if you will. And stated, hey, dude, I paid you $40 in December and you've not done my project at all. I want a refund. And they kind of crashed out. And I was like, what the heck is this? And people were starting to complain about stuff more. So I was also complaining on her feed as well. And somebody reached out to me, which was this $40 commission. And basically was talking about doing a beware. And the moment that they started to do that, this creator got their work done instantly. So it was just like, if you screamed the loudest, your stuff started to get done. And it upset me that it was that easy, while I'm still waiting and I haven't even gotten anything really other than an unrigged model that I can't use. So she said, hello, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. The adoptables that I upload are to pay bills almost immediately or emergencies. Many times they are already scheduled to be uploaded since I can't upload them daily because it's marked as spam. Just a few days ago I finished the big VTuber. And yes, I do usually take some small orders, but I give a long TAT to continue with previous commissions. Small commissions are also delivered over time since everyone wants their order, and many times I run into clients that are in quite the hurry. I'm like, well, am I not one? I had taken into account that you needed the character in an interval of 3 months, of course. I was going to deliver it sooner, but although sometimes I can deliver the work in 1 day, there are times that I can't even do that. Plus, I lost my pencil a few days ago, only found it yesterday. I'm like, okay. I also can't have exactly all of the communication that is needed unless I have updates. Or I don't have notifications on the network, so it is very difficult to stay up to date all day. Apologies in advance. It was just like, okay. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to say to you. It is requested that at the least, in any case, you pay for the VTuber that has already been completed at its normal, not rigged rate, to at least not have so much loss, if possible, since the art was completed. This would be another email, since she would basically say she wanted me to send it to another PayPal since they were going to close the other PayPal because of my case. Which, once again, I'm just like, I crashed out again. I said, with all that is canceled, I paid for the VTuber and then some. You were okay with the loss of money on my part? Do you not understand that was upsetting at all? And then I list out how much I canceled. I canceled $222.04. for the reference sheet that was canceled, my headshot, my badges canceled, my chibi VTuber canceled, the gaming asset, desktop, microphone, all that canceled, buttons canceled, background canceled, full banner canceled, icon was a gift. Okay, cool. Canceled. All I have is an unrigged VTuber that I can't even freaking use, a glorified twinning base. Whoopee. I said I lose out on $622 to $900+ from the project that was canceled. I already paid. When I paid, I prioritized you. Honestly, I gave you my entire check and struggled after. I didn't need to say all that, but I was like, bro, I prioritized you. I gave you my money. I gave you my time, my patience. I got nothing but a hope out of it. Yes, you finished my VTuber in one day. One day. When other artists took 2 to 4 months taking their time, giving me updates when they could, but also invested their effort in ensuring that my VTuber was perfected. I received a VTuber that had other pieces of layers on each of the slices. The other artist was so upset they were doing it from scratch instead, and that cost me a whole new project. If they wanted to use or rig the one that I was given, they were just gonna have to make a whole new VTuber for me in that style. I lost where it was. Regardless, there was no expressions added, by the way. And honestly, having $700 of effort, it wasn't having $700 worth of effort put into the design in the end. I was happy you finally sat down and gave me the time, but the fact that you can tell me that it's difficult to stay up to date all day, that is not what I asked for, and you know it. I was extremely patient. I was willing to drop hundreds worth of the commission to make things easier, and I was still not priority and deserved only 3 hours of 4 months worth of time. Your time management is not my problem. I paid for a service, not excuses and bad treatment and condescending comments and a TOS that says if I have any issue with it and rush, I have to pay hundreds of dollars to expect results or be blacklisted. If it were me, if I couldn't keep up with my queue, I wouldn't keep them open. I wouldn't prioritize someone who sent me hundreds of thousands of dollars over a $40 over a $40 com, right? I would have provided a Trello to show them the waitlist that they were on. I would have done my best to update them with a sketch here and there, instead of stating that I'm sorry, I'm not active, and then poofing for 3 more weeks to come back to 4 and 5 more adopts dropped. I'm basically crashing out here. I'm like, not my problem, not my problem. I'm not getting what I want. You don't get what you want. So that was that. And she proceeded to apologize and tried to work with me on this. I'm like burning out talking about this. Okay. My apologies. I didn't mean to sound like that. I really believe that I had commented previously that I was going to start VTubers in January, which is why I asked if you had a deadline, if you needed. The way that I made the VTuber and the way the rigging was done, it seems strange to me that the layers have been merged, since even me opening it through Live 2D, there's no errors. So I'm very sorry for your inconvenience, and I understand. In fact, I really wanted to do extra art in the beginning, but since that gave me better examples of my commissions in the future. Since your character is really beautiful and I liked drawing her, honestly, it's easier for me to draw nowadays. Just once again saying, I could draw it, I could do it, but are you gonna do it? I'm gonna skip through this, just another back and forth of this. I'll read what I stated here. I still feel really bad about this part. There's this nagging feeling that maybe I should have waited longer, but in the moment I pushed for it, I did pull the trigger. I was apologetic and willing to cancel the chargeback when I talked to her, but then I was told actually it would benefit her if I pursued the case and sent the funds over to a new PayPal account so she could use the funds, essentially. At that point, I had interpreted it as getting paid twice for the same work. I thought maybe this would finally get the work done, and I agreed. But deep down, I knew I wasn't going to get anything. She had already shown proof of delivering poorly sliced unrigged model, so the case was closed in my book. I had sent it as friends and family, and I know that it feels maybe I jumped the gun too soon, but I wasn't seeing any proof the project would come to life, and all I was seeing was constant posts of adopts, and then I started hearing complaints from others of their experiences going through the same thing, and I got scared, I got nervous, and in the end I made the decision to do the chargeback. When I agreed to her that I would refund the money, essentially, if I won the case and I got the money, she wanted me to send it to a new PayPal account that was not the one that she listed before. I agreed that I would do that, but in truth, I was honestly just trying to get, okay, either you get my work done and I can actually use it, or I get my money and I just walk away and invest it in somebody who actually will take it seriously. That was my mindset at the time. It's very scummy, but it was just, it is what it is, essentially. So 02/28/24, here we are. She started working on my banner. We did a lot of back and forth. I was actually pretty happy. She did a mini pet gift to try to make amends for everything. I was very happy with all this, but I do feel like it was just because the promise of getting another 1K and her new PayPal account was on the line. So, that this is what I got in the end. As an apology, she started working on the banner that was owed to me, and I do appreciate that so far. I received the following item following from her: a banner, an unrigged model that was poorly sliced, a microphone PNG, a pet dog, a stream UV and chair. While I'm grateful for these, the work wasn't fully up to my expectations. Once again, I didn't get to pick anything, especially for the long wait. This is more of a behavior beware situation, rather than me saying I got nothing out of this. It's just the behavior that I was upset with. I did receive the files, the banner, the pet dog, etc. And I'm still waiting for my Chibi Vtuber. Everything else that was on my commission list, I completely canceled. And it has been a frustrating process, and I'm trying to get what was originally promised. But since I posted this beware, she's blocked me. She stated that she was working for free and that I threatened her. Love that. So I'm not getting anything. Oh, and she said that I no longer have the right to use these things. I don't own my own character, essentially. She proceeded to strip my VTuber and make it a base that she was reselling to her community. Love that. Yeah, love that, love that. So here's the pet dog image. It took her so long to send me this file. I had to ask for like over a month for her to send me this file. It was just a dog PNG. So I was updating her about the case because essentially, hey, I'm not gonna win here. It's not gonna. They keep closing the case. There's nothing I could do. And she was like coming up with ideas of like, oh, well, maybe you can say this or that so that they'll close it in your favor. And I'm just like, I can try, but it's not gonna work because you scammed me. Why? Because if you send something as friends and family, you don't get a refund. That's the reality. I'm not gonna lie, my heart goes out to her and I feel for her, but I begged for this damn puppy to be sent to me for so long. It's just me expressing I want the puppy. She finished the banner on 03/06/2024. I was really happy with it. I admired the headphones, etc. Just compliments to her. She asked me for an update on everything. She then sent me on 03/27 a picture of the chair. It is behavior. So 04/10/2024. Hello, sweetie. Can I have an update? And can you send the dog to my email? Once again, 2 months of no dog. Invite email. I'm not noticing any Okay, here we go. This is the stretch. 04/10, then 04/19, asking for an update. 04/20, asking for an update. And then finally, she replies, hello, yes, I will continue your project as promised. I currently am needing a lot of money for personal reasons, but I will be uploading the drawings to the drive. Sorry for the delay in responding. Sometimes I get notifications through Discord better, which is also a lie. I had her on Discord, she doesn't reply. When she does reply, it's after she posts 4 more adopts. That's what I've noticed. She'll come in, here's another adopt batch. Hey, I'm not busy. I'm busy. Sorry, I'm busy. And then leaves. And then you finally get an update the next adopt batch, maybe. She said, I'll upload it to the drive later. I have problems with emails, although I can also send through Discord. And so I added her on Discord. We didn't even talk on Discord. Thank you so much. Can you upload the dog again at 0420? Dude, almost another month asking for the dog PNG to be sent. And then 0517. Hello, asking for another update. 0521, asking for another update. 0525, asking for another update. 0529, sorry, I didn't get notifications on my phone well. I have some updates, but I haven't been able to back up my computer. Mainly they're the assets that I owe you. Unfortunately, since PayPal case has not been closed, I've had to find money by selling adopts. Sorry if I made you feel ghosted. It is not my intention. I broke down at this moment, which was unprofessional, I admit. So 0521, does that mean you're not going to finish my commission? I just genuinely feel like the only way you will finish my project is if I start paying out of pocket for the project all over again. So to make things easier, that I can move on as well, I really do want to debut and move on. Would you please finish the chair and send me the dog and the small chibi VTuber unrigged, and I will move on with the rest of the project canceled. Trying to adjust everything again, just like, hey, just give me this and we're done. I also have not closed the PayPal case because you pretty much stated you were not going to finish my project until I got that money and gave it back to you. Sweetheart, I tried my damn to be very patient, and it's been since last year that I've commissioned this. I seriously want it to be done as soon as possible. Every time I reach out, all I get is another excuse, and I'm waiting for months for a reply, and I kind of just can't keep doing this anymore. I want to trust and I want to believe, but I honestly feel like the only way I will ever get my stuff is if I either pay you for more money, or if I win the case and then give you the money. And I just don't effing know what to do at this point. At this point, is there any way you can personally refund me for everything that wasn't completed? Like, you keep telling me that you need to make money off adoptables, but you took my money up front and you've made over 40 adoptables since I've paid you full out. And at some point, you have been able to, you have to be able to put me on priority and finish what I paid so much for. I was crying at that point, as I stated, and I was very frustrated. Once again, I crashed out. There was no response for another week. And at this point, she logs in once a week or every 2 weeks to upload adopts and then poofs. And of course, that just builds more anxiety, of course. So, 0607 didn't even reply to my crash out at that moment. Just sends me the chair. Here's your chair. It's done. Hello, sorry for the delay. Unfortunately, I cannot make refunds. More to the point that I currently need to pay debts, and this is all in the TOS. Also, previous PayPal account is closed, so basically I won't be able to use the money either. I'm not doing this without being able to have the money. I will be uploading the assets, and I will have some other gifts for streaming because of the delay. Also, I have the dog on the laptop. By the way, I still haven't got the dog, dude. It's 06. I haven't had you didn't send me the dog. I'm also doing this without being, skip that. I have to take it out and upload it to the drive. You can find the chair on the folder now. Most likely today I will upload some more assets such as the microphone, background, badges, and buttons. If you want the buttons to say something specific, you can tell me each as one, and I'll have a personalized chibi of the puppy or your character Ike. I was checking some things that would be useful for you, and of course the art is not mine, just an example of what I could do. And I said, may I please have the link again to the Google Drive? Thank you so much for getting back to me. Life has not been well for me, and it means a lot. I appreciate the effort. For the buttons, I just want them to say Discord, donate, schedule, about me, social media, just stuff like that. It's entirely up to you. I give you total freedom, as always, on what you would like to do. Personalized puppy or Ike, either is fine. essentially. She gives me the link. I had made this weird Kiwi emoji. Okay, this is my greatest art piece. All right, don't judge me. um, and then we just go back and forth, just a little bonding. And she keeps promising more art gifts, but it's like I don't believe I'll ever get them. I'm just like, oh, that sounds nice, but yeah, just give me my work. With a little bonding here and talking, and asking for the files to be uploaded again. She said I fell asleep. The power went out on 0607. I said, no worries. I fell asleep. And then a month later, 0705, I said, hello, can you please upload the microphone and the dog to the Google Drive? I see me red lighting, bro. Can you please upload them? It's the middle of the year. I still don't have them. I'm gonna turn myself down. Red lighting. Here we go. Alright, and then she replied, I forgot to upload the microphone. I need to take the dog off the other computer. I'm like, okay, can you do so? Because it's been a couple months now for the dog, and each time I ask, I'm told you forgot. But while you can you upload the microphone as well, pretty please? Can you also provide me with the Chibi VTuber as soon as possible? I said that on 0731. I gave up on them ever being rigged, but I would appreciate the art as soon as possible. Also, there is no refund because you fought the case and they closed it based off your evidence provided, so please finish the project. Telling her, like, look, dude, I can't give you your money into another account. Like, you're not getting paid twice, bro. You didn't lose money. I can't give you another 1K. Just get my project done, please. And the reason why I was upset with that is because I was fighting to get it back. And then finally I got the data. And the reason why I couldn't get it back is because they had submitted proof that the 3-hour VTuber thing that they did was complete. Therefore, no scan. Therefore, no money back. Which, fine, whatever. Do my work then. As harsh as that sounds, it's just like, okay, then give me what I paid for. Anyways, she didn't reply, so next month, 0806, may have an update. Next bump, 0828, may have an update. She did open up to me with what she was going through, which I understand. In the midst of all, she prompted for me to keep trying to get the money back. It made me feel conflicted, especially after everything had already been delayed for so long. It felt like she was pushing me to pursue a chargeback to benefit her at the cost of my, sanity, if you will, which left me feeling uneasy and uncertain about the whole situation. So here's her complaining, sorry, I had an injury. My computer has stopped working. I only have backups of the last updates I had to upload. So this is what's killing me. Every time she uploads another 4 adopt, she's like, oh, it's somewhere, on a folder that, has existed. And, smiles. I didn't totally just draw that right now. It was there, is the shit that she was telling me. And I just respond, are you okay? I've been off Facebook for a while. Like, at this point, I don't believe anything I'm getting. So I haven't been active. I've just been elsewhere. I didn't debut. And I was just like, screw it at that point. She said, since I didn't manage my aggressive ex account, so I don't want him to keep that money if he won the case. More than now, I want to buy wheelchairs and things that because they damaged my spine. This really frustrates me right now. So the PayPal she gave me was her ex-fiance or ex-partner's account. Which, whatever. I tried to charge back that account. She wanted me to pursue charging back that account because they were breaking up. It would benefit her if she got the money sent to another account because allegedly they didn't spend the money together when I paid them a year before, which I witnessed. They spent it. So she didn't want him to keep that money, and I wasn't the only client that she was telling to charge back his account to send to her new account. So she says, oh yeah, I will use it to buy a wheelchair or whatever because they damaged my spine. She sent pictures of her with scratches and a neck brace because he and his family got aggressive with her, which broke my heart because you don't want to feel you're at fault for that, right? But you feel like you are because you did a chargeback. And yeah, just whatever. Okay, so I said no. They closed the dispute multiple times and says it's because you fought the case and they won't rule it in my favor anymore. They keep saying that the evidence was provided to the account. And she said, is there no way to explain that the artist never responded or call PayPal directly or tell them it was a scam since the person has no power over the account? Just any way you can give me my money again? I really tried. I could only try again, and it always takes another 3 months, and they close it as no error was made. I've tried everything. They provided were chat screenshots showing that you sent me the VTuber, so they keep closing it. She said, I know, it just seems unfair to me that he keeps the money even though he can't use it anyways. After 6 months, he can. What? PayPal says they cannot do anything because I went through my bank and my bank keeps closing it as no error was made. I was really upset and sad. They closed it 5 times now. And like I said, in between 5 times, 3 months each before they close it, maybe sooner. I will try to find a way to bypass the system, is what she said. I said, I'm not sure if a refund could be issued at all, hun. Kiwi posted, I will try to have the case open again, but they really do keep closing it. I'm not sure if you can access the PayPal case and open it for a refund. She said, no, my ex changed his PayPal email and password. Besides, it's a victory for him. Like, this is all spiteful, bro. This is spiteful. Like, what does that have to do with me? I have to say that. Now, like, okay. You guys had the money, you spent the money, you never lost the money. I don't know what you want me to do other than to help you spite your whatever the flip is going on in your end. Of course, I say. That really sucks, man. I'm so sorry. You didn't get paid at all, question mark? I could never use the money. I can only currently use my sister's PayPal account. Like, alright, buddy. I said, wow, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what to do, you know? I had to get another VTuber somewhere else. The PayPal case was actually closed. In quotation, my favor. They said they were supposed to send me a refund, but then the bank said they closed it as no error was made, so no funds were provided. She said, I can continue. I'm just a little slow. As I've mentioned in my post, Adopts is one of my sources of incomes, and I'm currently hurting. One moment. And she apologized for that. And I said, I absolutely understand that this is why you were asking, this is why I was asking if you had any spare designs or anything that I could have just as a refund, so you don't have to worry about it at all at this point. Because at this point, I've waited over a year, and I absolutely understand your situation, and that really sucks, but I also have had some traumatic experiences in my life as well, and I don't want to be a part of the art community anymore. So I'm continuing to try to be patient, but I'm also so sorry that I'm also a human being at the end of the day. Regardless, thank you so much for your efforts. I'm not sure if there's any way to bypass the system, especially because you do not have access to the PayPal anymore. I could try to push for another case to be open with my bank account, but I'm not too sure they'll do anything anymore. So essentially I'm saying, sorry buddy, you're not getting paid twice. There's nothing I can do. So 08/28, I said I filed a rebuttal again. And they said it'll take another 90 days to investigate before they'll close it out. And then she replied, you can add that the account was hacked. I think so. I reply, I can try, but they have screenshots sent from your side stating that the product was complete And they keep closing it because of that. Basically, I'm telling her, like, yeah, totally, I could try, but, like, dude, there's nothing they can do. She's like, you want us to make a fake screenshot? What do you mean? I'm not trying, what do you mean I'm not going to give you your money back and I look aggressive? Like, what? Whatever you can show as evidence, be careful, it's false. I'm like, I don't know if that was a miscommunication there. I was basically stating, hey, they have screenshots from you saying that you did the work. They close it in your favor. There's nothing I can do. And I guess she took that as, are we faking screenshots? And I'm like, no. I said, no. They have a screenshot of you sending me the product, and every time they investigate, they close it because of it. I'm not sure, hun. I told them what was going on, and they responded, reopen the case. I'm not sure what else to do anymore. I guess it might be your ex's bank is fighting it. And she said, yeah, but not the full product. You're admitting, yeah, you didn't do all of the work, yeah? And also, do a false archive with nothing like scam. I'm like, I have no, like, you're not getting your money back, dude. Fuck off. And it's even then, it's like, you didn't lose out on anything. You spent the money. You're not getting paid another 1K is what I'm saying. You're not getting paid again. Alright, there's nothing I could do about that. She said, you can tell the PayPal that the artist refuses to provide a refund or product and has become aggressive and apparently violates PayPal policies. And just like, girl, this is insane. I said, yeah, PayPal closed it. It's my bank chime that is being a jerk about it. Just telling her, like, look, you're not getting the money. The money's not. I don't know what to do. If you're fucked, okay? She said, oh, you cannot explain that to your bank with a false screenshot? I'm like, no! So essentially that's the gist of it. When she finally, like, is realizing, oh man, my new PayPal is not gonna get another rack, she disappears again. 0828. I was super insistent. I kept calling them nonstop. Chime is known for not really giving your money back if you file a chargeback, to be honest. And she didn't reply. 0926, a whole month later. Bumping 0926. Could I please be able to take 2 adopts that you've made as a refund and just call it at that? 10/17. I hope you are healing well. She had posted a post on Facebook saying, be careful of cactus. She hurt her hand. And so I was saying, oh, I hope you get better, dude. 10/20. I'm so tired of being ignored. I also have a life. I, like, crashed out here because she made a post, like, a little TOS update. And it was like, I have a life outside of the computer. I don't just do this, for a living. And it made me really upset. So I messaged her direct and was like, dude, I'm tired of being ignored. The last time we talked was in August. At this point, the artist I've been working with wants to post a beware on you. The artist that I've been working with, I cherish her, dude. She's the one who made this model. I love her so much. She was getting so frustrated for me. And wanted to, like, multiple artists that I was associating with wanted to post a beware, or were pushing me to post a beware because this was just astoundingly bad. So I told her that. And then, ta-da! She finally replies. I'm very sorry. I've not continued with your order because you have not given me any answers regarding the refund. As I do not have the money, I also have to work for other people as I have expenses to cover. I'm basically working on a project for free. What? What? I paid you in 2023 to the PayPal you gave me. I saw you spent it, bro. You were cosplaying, you bought things, you spent it. You were with your partner. There was nothing going on there. And now you're telling me a whole other year later, I'm working for free because you couldn't get the money back and send it to a new PayPal now that I broke up with my aggressive ex. Really? 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 Awesome. Crash out. I reply, what? So you stopped working on it because you want money from the refund. I told you my bank will not refund it. I've tried multiple times. You told me to send it as friends and family so it's not protected. I spent a lot of money on this project and I've got nothing back. You are not working on it for free as the money was sent and I never got it back. If you're going to say that, I will proceed to post the beware. This is fucked up. And she replies, I was never able to use the money anyway. It was debited from my ex-husband's account, which I have no access to. Girl. Regardless, if you were not able to use the money, I paid the money to the account that you provided. The money has been taken from my account. You had access to the money, whether it was because of your husband or not. I sent the money, I paid for the project, and now you're telling me that you refuse to effing do the project because you don't get any money I did pay. How does that make any sense? I'm sorry, I typed dumb. You're basically telling me that unless I pay another $1,000+ for this project, you're not going to do it. I'm crashing out. I'm crying. I'm typoing. I'm crashing out. How is that fair to me? You're not working for free. I literally paid you. I've been so patient. I've waited. It's been 10 months later, and you're telling me that you refuse to work on it unless I pay more money, which essentially is what you're telling me to do, dude. At this point, I'm just gonna admit that I've been scammed. You haven't stole my money, and you refuse to do the work. I refuse to be kind anymore. You basically scammed me. How wonderful. Just crash out like, great, awesome, great. And she said, making a beware when you have part of the work done is a bit rude. It's a bit rude, don't you think? And no, not saying that you should pay me 1,000 more, just that the money was refunded can be returned. What? I think it's a bit rude. You took my money and now you're saying that because your husband withheld it from you, I do not get the project that I paid for. I consider that very effing rude. That was a lot of money. I also have a life. I also worked very hard for that money. You know, we're crash out central right now. Crashing out! I'm livid! Okay, alright, chill. Now. Ugh. Okay, I need to calm down. Okay. Okay, but now you're saying that because, okay, repeated that. Don't think that, sorry, don't you think that's effing rude to do to your customer that just paid you that much money? Do you think anybody sees this chat? Do you think that anybody that sees this chat log is gonna agree that it is really effing rude to do that to somebody that paid that much for a project? The money was not refunded because you told me to pay you as friends and family, which is not protected for refunds. They never refunded the money that you won the case. That you won the case. I never got the money back. I was never refunded, and you kept telling me to push for it to try to get it back to you, but you're the one who set this up, so that I would never get it back in this event. And now you're telling me that because I can't get the money back and send it to you again for the second time, new account, you refuse to do my project. She replies, I completed the part, hold on. Just fuck it. I have completed part of the work, mainly the Vtuber, the illustration, and part of the assets, and at no time has this been a scam. And I said, yeah, now you're telling me that you're not going to do anything else until I refund you $1,000 again, when you know that I cannot because there's no reason. I'm sorry, you're the reason that why it was paid as friends as family, because you refuse to accept any other form of payment. I cannot get the money back. Do you not get that? So basically you're telling me unless I come up with another $1,000 to pay you again, I cannot get my money. I'm sorry, I cannot get my project. That is not okay. That is not a thing okay. I just sound like a crash out dude right now. Like, I'm like, here. At this point, you can't tell me that I haven't been scammed. If you're asking me for more money, I paid. I showed proof of payment. I never got the money back. And you know that because you know that if I send money as friends or family, I will never get it back. The bank does not care. So no, I'm not making a beware because part of the work has been done. I'm making a beware because you tell me that unless I get a refund and win the case to get my money back and pay you again, you're not going to complete my project, which is not effing okay. That is a scam. Do you not get that? She said, it's just that I still have to do other things or other things to get money. I have to cover medical expenses, foods, and whatever. I've not told you to pay me more than that. You paid me simply that when I made the refund, the money was debited and I could never use it. Bro, the money was given to your ex. Okay, that sucks. That's you and his problem, bro. You have the money. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just crashing out right now. As you can see, wall text. Just crash out. I could read this, but it's kind of wild. Alright. Ends, like I said, multiple artists I've been working with have been aware of this situation and have pushed to post their own beware. Because they are also upset with the way that I've been treated and the fact that I've been pushed to get a refund and the fact that I've been pushed to pay you again, and now you're telling me that you will not work on this project until I provide you a refund. And I keep saying refund, but it's essentially provide you another $1,300 to your new PayPal account because you broke up with your ex. That is literally all it is. And this has been months after you've spent it, dude. It's gone. All right. You did not complain when you took my money from me a year ago. At this point, I want no fucking... I'm sorry, can I curse? Can I curse on Twitch? I want no effing excuses. And I don't want you to tell me that, oh, because I haven't paid you $1,000 and won the case that you told me to push for, that you're not going to complete my project. That is not okay. That's a lot of money. It didn't just fall from trees and I had paid you. I paid you out full up front, and now you're telling me that unless I come up with that again, you're not going to continue the project. I'm just reiterating. You're just reiterating a lot. I never received any of the money. I have proof to prove that I've documented everything that we've talked about this entire log. Of me talking to the bank as well. Everything has been documented. I've gotten none of the money back. You won the case every single time, and you provided them chat logs showing that you did provide partial work files, so they keep closing the case. There's nothing I could do. So you know that I didn't get my money back, and if your husband decided not to give it to you, that's his fault, not my fault. I paid for my project. So let me make things clear. Right now, unless I pay you $1,000, you refuse to do this project. Is that right? Because at this point, my next move is to file a court case. I'm going Karen right now. I'm going to file a court case against you. And I will, against this account, and I will be having my friends and artists that I work with posting a beware about this, because you cannot sit there and tell me that this is not a scam. If you are going to tell me that you refuse to work on it anymore, and you happen to, if you happen to scroll up, sit there and say that I didn't reply to you or answer your questions. I did answer. I did reply. You haven't gotten back to me for days or months at this point. This has been a common trend between me and you, where you don't reply for me for days, weeks, or months at a time. And I understand that you have a life, but so do I. And I paid for a service and I have not received it in full. I've even give you the option to let me go, and I would consider the project done. Just give me 2 adopts so I can move on and be done with this at full AB. Now, mind you, I need to sell these adopts to pay my bills. I tell you to give me 2 of them. You post 4 a week, maybe every other week, more. I ask for 2. And you say, oh yeah, I need it to pay bills. And then you sell it for $35. Make it make sense, bro. I could have been out of the way, done. But you can't even give me 2 JPEGs. Alright. Sorry. Okay. And you and I both know that if you talk any further, any of your other clients like this, and you told them to do the things that you told me to do, they would have filed their own bewares on you quickly, dude. I'm basically calling her out. Like, you know, if you did this to anybody else that wasn't a boomer like me, you would have been done. Been done. At this point. I didn't say I won't complete your project, she said. I already delivered part of it. I just said that I have to other work to do as well. And no, he's not my husband anymore. I know this isn't relevant. I just don't have access to their accounts either. So fucking what? So what? So what? Sorry. As I told you, I couldn't use the money either, and it was just sitting there. So I'm basically doing a big job for free. Fuck you. Fuck you. Sorry, I'm gonna say it. Fuck you. I paid you in full. You enjoyed it when you were with your partner. I watch you post cosplay pictures. Oh, by the way, you tell me that you had a C-section, brother. You post a cosplay picture with your whole abdomen exposed, no scar, nothing. Wow. Sorry. I just have to put that out there. Regardless, the money was spent. Not my fucking problem. Sent, spent. Don't know what to do about it. So I reply, this response to me is not okay, and it comes off like I'm never gonna get the work that I paid for because you consider it for free. Charity, right? I'm sorry, I went weeks without I'm crashing out about how I was on a ramen noodle diet to pay her off. I'm sorry I went weeks without effing food because I paid you up front. Crash out. I gave you my entire check. That money was not free. I paid for it. I worked very hard for my money. I also have a life. Just reiterating shit, because she throws this in people's face all the time. Do you want to consider me rude? I've been the most fucking kind person for months now. For an entire year. I've been patient. I was willing to work with you multiple times. I kept getting led on, and now I'm being told that you're basically working for free. How is that fair for me? So no, you're not basically doing it for free. I basically had over $1,000 stolen from me, and I'm not gonna get the work that I fucking paid for in a timely manner. You're basically just gonna get to it when you feel like it, because you're basically doing it for free. How awesome for me! I honestly put so much faith into this project and into you as an artist. You were one of the very first people that I ever paid, to be honest, and this was such a huge letdown. I really tried to hold on to and hope. I even ignored my friends and the artists that I was working with on posting a Beware Sooner. I was trying to hold out and be patient. I had and have faith in you, that you were being honest with me. And after the entire year flew by, I'm being told that you were working for free, and the money I sent meant nothing. Alright, Crash Out Lord. So she replies, you asked me about an AB free of 2 characters, each of which is $310. That would be $620. Just the rig, just the model without the rig is $600. The asset still incomplete is a little bit more than $100. Basically saying it doesn't add up. But you sold both the adopts that I wanted. You sold them for $35, bro. Take the L. Sorry. Fuck. Okay. Next. All right. I said, whether you think I'm rude or not, my heart is broken. I've been scammed, and I'm honestly done. I basically told you that I wanted to adopt so I can consider the rest of our project done, and I would be done. And I would be out of the way. You wouldn't have to worry about it. And you kept telling me that you couldn't do it because you needed to make money. Forget that I paid for anything. Like I was trying to do a favor and move on, dude. And I'm fucking tired of crying over this and feeling like I'm basically being an emo sack of whatever. And she replied, if it had been a scam like you think, I wouldn't have delivered anything. I'm gonna play this. But I have focused on several occasions of trying to advance something even without having money in my hands. And I don't have the money. You don't have the money, and neither do I. At least you have part of the work, and I feel pressured to even do so. I feel pressured to do the work I was commissioned for. Holy fuck, who would have known? Who would have known that I chose to do a job, and I actually have to do the job? What? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Wild. I said, at this point, just forget it. You don't want to finish the project and you feel like you're working for free, then I guess I'll just consider this a scam and move on. That is just how it works when it comes to business. She replied, "The cheapy VTuber is included in the offer. You paid later for a couple of badges." Like, she's just saying, like, I don't know why you even mentioned it. Yeah, I paid you more. I paid you more and more. Whatever. I said, "You don't want to finish the work that I paid for, and you knew that I paid for then? I guess I have to consider this a scam. I really did everything I could try to get you access to the money that I sent you, but I have to admit this is fraudulent behavior. I can't scam PayPal from my bank account. You fought the case, you won, you had me send it as friends and family. There's no more money coming your way because you feel like you are working for free. Because you're not getting paid again for the same service. I have to move on. I have to consider this a scam. I tried to work things out for you, but you refused to even give me an adopt or anything to balance out the money that I invested into this. So I have to say, this is just a fucking scam." in game. She replied, "I didn't say I didn't want to finish this. Obviously for me, it's a lot of pressure." And yes, I have been rigging the VTuber, although incomplete, since I do not have the paid version of Live 2D. Okay, at the time, I didn't know anything about Live 2D. I will be honest. I was like, what? Question mark? She said, "I also have some sketches of your project, including remaining icons of assets part." Alright, now I'm going to talk about Live 2D. Because I've gotten so fed up that I've decided to take the time to pay for a freaking class and find out how to rig my own shit. Fuck you. I'm just gonna be honest. F you. I now know the truth. If you don't have a paid version of Live 2D, you can't even open a freaking file. You can't do nothing with it, to be honest. And it's not hard to rig, actually. The baseline rigging is so freaking easy. It literally wouldn't have taken that long to do your basic tweening ass puppet and fucking rig it for me. Now I know. Now I know. And you're talking about, I'm in the process of rigging it even though it's not paid for. Bitch, no you're not. You can't even open the file. Sorry. Okay. I'm crashing. I'm sorry. I think I need a soda. I haven't breathed, I haven't drunk anything. One moment. Alright, now I know. But now I know. Back then I didn't. Alright. Now I speak. Alright. So, I say, this is the last thing I'll say. I tried everything in my power to be patient, to be kind, to be understanding, and to work with you at this point. I no longer have the patience or the kindness to do so. You refuse to work with me, and I guess that's not even worth giving me to adopt, so that you can just go, I can just go about my way and be done with this. Because according to you, you did $1,000 worth of work. I wish I could believe the things that you were telling me, but I'm honestly, I have nothing to show. I have nothing to show for the amount of kindness and patience that I've been sitting here. Basically, this is I'm gonna skip this. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then we kind of try to, like, hash it out a little. Let me see. I have to skip this because it is triggering me right now. We try to work things out. She's complaining about being tired, and I'm like, well, I work 11 to 12-hour shifts. Me too, home dog. I'm tired as well. And then she starts venting to me about her life struggles of being a paper bag. I try to sleep, adding to therapy to walk well again, and the trauma caused by my ex. Just another freaking trauma dump. Panic attacks, all the a whole receipt. So these little videos, I could pull them up. She was showing me that the rig was halfway done, but the way that it looked was so cringe. The character would just like twitch and the eye would move slightly. It was just obviously her dragging it around with a cursor, and I'm just like, wow, wonderful. I love seeing that. I have the file. I could pull it up here in a moment. So we go back and forth, and I decided I wanted the chibi VTuber to be, of course, unrigged. I was going to go to my trusted source for it. It's a little shark girl. I love her to death. She's almost done. Not with this artist, obviously. But I told her to go ahead and focus on this one for the last item. Badges, headshots, all that stuff, it's all canceled. All I want is the Chibi VTuber unrigged, and I'll walk away, dude. She wouldn't even give me that without any excuses as well. So I will paraphrase here. I reached a point where I'm saying yes to anything and expecting nothing. All I want is the unrigged chibi, and then I'll walk away. The entire experience has been a mess, and while I wish her the best and hope life treats her better, I also have my own life struggles, traumas to deal with. And waiting for this has taken so much of a toll that I've given up on VTubing altogether. At this point, I had given up. I didn't debut when I wanted. At this point, it's 2025 going on 2026. What am I doing? I, have to face the music, dude. I had given up. I just essentially wanted something to make me feel like I didn't lose out on that big sum of money and walk away feeling that way. I also had no pull. I have no following. Nothing. So even if I posted a beware or scream and shout, I just felt like nobody was gonna freaking hear me or give a you know? So I was just struggling with that there. So here we go. I stopped caring so much that I barely even asked for updates anymore. January 24, 2025. Can I have an update? February 3rd. Can I have an update? February 8th. Update. March 5. Reply? March 8. Ugh. Unsent message. March 10. Hello. She finally replies. Hi, Aki. I just woke up. I'm sorry I've been out of communication for a while because of facial pain. It doesn't let me eat properly. And I think, oh my god, a while ago I made a post selling adoptables to pay for a surgery. That is why I haven't been answering much. Painkillers make me fall asleep, and I'm like, holy. So you've been asleep for 3 months. Wow. Valid. Sleep well, queen, I guess. I reply, there's honestly a lot of things I want to say, but at this point, is there any way that we can just have the chibi shark finished as soon as possible? I don't want anything else. I just would like to have her done and walk away from this. I'm just being upfront. Can you just get this done? You got that one VTuber done in 3 hours. Can you just give me another 3 hours and just get this done? I'll be gone. And then I said, there's no need to rig or anything at this point. I just very much would like to have it done as soon as possible so that we can move on and you don't have to worry about this anymore. Just same-o. She replies, she was a VTuber too? Question mark? I don't remember exactly the details. That hit me. I'm like, so you don't even remember. Nice. Good to know. I said, yes, I paid for a big VTuber and a chibi. Everything else I was willing to cancel at this point. I just want this one thing done and I will be okay. She said, yes, but I mean, is it a chibi? I'm like, girl, yes. She said, oh, it's okay. I can make a chibi. I'm like, all right, cool. Send her the details. I have the pics. Don't worry. You don't even remember the freaking commission. Okay. She sent me a sketch. I loved it. Not gonna lie. Let me see. I don't know if I could pull this up without getting in trouble. Hopefully. Let me see. Yeah, there's nothing weird. This is the character. Waiting for her VTuber to be done. I don't think I uploaded the sketch. Here it is. So this is the sketch that we have of her. I have nothing else. And she's since blocked me, so it's never gonna get done. So there she is. R.I.P. Okay. Oh. Next. I'm scared. Okay. Alright, no sketch. She said sketch, no clothes, whatever. I said, her model's looking nice, and I told her that the person that I'm working with, is already in the final stages of rigging. She's like, done. And this artist hates this person. Like, I don't even think she's gonna want to rig anything that comes from her at this point. I said I just wanted to reach out privately March 18th, because I hope I didn't come across too harsh in my comment. So I'm referencing that I finally started commenting on her posts because she was making public posts saying, clients are bad. They think I'm just a machine or a bank. I can't refund you. I can't do your work because I have a life. And I finally commented like, dude, what? That's really unfair. And I said, I hope I didn't come across too harsh. I am really sorry. If anything I said made you feel worse or added on to what you were already going through. That wasn't my intention at all. I recognize that you've been dealing with a lot, and I truly do wish you healing. Just giving her some woes, essentially. Like, I am here for you. I know you're human, but I also don't appreciate you at the same time. So I was giving her some comfort, whatever. Okay, so this is where we are now. I do not wish any ill will towards this person. We are all human, and I made a mistake. I made plenty of mistakes as a client too. However, this experience has caused me an overwhelming amount of stress. I've started seeing other clients being labeled as bad clients, which only fuels my anxiety and of not getting the art that I paid for. It has become a toxic situation, and at this point, I wish I could get my money back and invest it into somebody who would be able to bring my vision to life. I genuinely hope she finds success and peace in her journey. But I fear that I'll never see this project completed. I'll attach videos of half-rigged work, and along with other screenshots and statuses updates I received. Just, yeah, whatever. And I'm basically saying, don't be dumb like me. So this is an update of last month, essentially. The update of Fallout that occurred after. So I want to sincerely apologize for how emotional this document was. It's very lackluster. It was my first Beware that I ever made. I stated that I stayed quiet for so long because I felt trapped at the mercy of someone I spent so much money on. I wanted to be understanding. I wanted to believe that we could be friends, and I held on to the hope that if I stayed patient, that I'd eventually receive what I paid for. This was one of my first steps into art and the Vtuber community, and I genuinely wanted this to be a positive experience, something that would bring my dream to life. Sadly, that never happened, and outside of the situation, I faced so many other difficult experiences with artists, and it completely drained my happiness and hope for the community. Over time, I became numb to it. Now I'm just honestly too scared to commission anybody at all. I felt like I had no voice. I'm not an artist. I'm not well known. I had nothing to shield or support me when I needed the help the most. So I stayed quiet, helpless, when somebody finally, with more reach, finally spoke out and held them accountable. I tried to find the courage to do the same, hoping just for a little bit of justice and awareness, or even validation, to feel like less of a fool for trusting someone who hurt me. When the artist reached out to me privately, okay, let me just cover this bit. Somebody else decided that they were done with being scammed by this specific person and made a post and a Beware, and it went viral, and I felt like I could talk about what I was going through now. Like, somebody would at least, like, she would see that, yeah, I probably should take care of her too. So I posted about it with them, and then this artist reached out to me privately, again, on Facebook, and threatened to end their life. I completely broke down because I do not do well with those kind of things. Understandably so. It's critical. It's life or death. You feel like you have to drop everything and dedicate your all to that person as they're telling you that they're ideating. And so I completely broke down. I pulled my documents down. I went quiet again. And then I saw them making posts, rage baiting, and placing all of the blame for them ideating on the person who posted the Beware. And that shattered me. It really upset me. And I've lost people in my life. And to see that trauma was manipulated and weaponized, I at that point just gave no fucks. So I just posted it all over again. I'm gonna skip that. So she sent me an image of her in bed, censored out, basically saying she jumped off a bridge. I said this image broke me. She reached out to me on Edge and broke to me. that she was going through so much pain because of the bewares, and I sat there and tried my best to pull her away from harming herself. And I've had a lot of trauma related to death, and despite knowing this could be a lie, I took it lethally seriously in the event that it was true, and I wanted to believe in the event that this was real. And that I at that point had to stop it and make things better so that she could heal. So we had communications here. I'm not gonna relive this, but she basically starts pouring into me that she's gonna do it, that she's tired, and yeah. Yeah, no. I can't. I'm gonna skip this. She was sending me screenshots of what people were saying, like harassing her. A lot of people attacked her, which I will never support. I get it. I get it. I also really do get it, but I can't support attacking someone, you know? I can only raise awareness and be like, hey, not so nice. So I was trying my best to put her at ease, tell her to focus on her cue, get it done. Even if she were to get it done for me, I mean, I would tell to the moons and the stars, like, hey, I still represent you, I support you, you got to me. Sorry. She apparently went missing. There was a post that her sister was using her account saying that she went missing, and she's seeing all the backlash on the feeds and was wondering what was going on. I reached out to her and was like, hello, they messaged me, they were telling me they were wanting to hurt themselves, and I'm very worried that that's what happened. And they respond, hello Ike, I think you're the 1K girl. They're commenting about you on my post, saying you're a victim of my sister. Maybe you should maybe you could say something about it. And thanks for letting me know. I found some of her writings, but I thought they were just random words, which triggered the hell out of me, because once again, if you go through these experiences, yeah. Anyways, I told her to contact the authorities, but they kept pushing for me to make a post saying, oh, I wasn't scammed and whatever. Anyways. Whatever. Yaya eventually starts communicating and talking about an artist that she is putting all of the blame of her exposure on. And she asked me to post an apology to her publicly to hopefully help things calm down for her. I told her that if I were to get the art, yeah, totally, I'll do that. Yeah, I can't read it. It's a little too hard for me right now, so skip it. I hate this. Sorry. So she said she sent me this picture, an update of my character. She said her sister found it. Like, her sister was like, I found this file on the computer that she previously did. If you know anything about Paint Tool Sci, if you open a file, there is no undo button. There is no loaded up color code here that you previously were using. Basically, this is an active file that you're working with. This is not a file that you just found. I'm almost done. I just want to power through it and run away. When this happened, I was not okay. I broke down. I felt like a villain. My friends were barely able to cheer me up or keep me calm because I felt like I had pushed somebody to hurt themselves, lie or not. It's reality. As much as I wanted my art, I gave up, and I truly wanted to be a VTuber. I wanted to live stream. I wanted this to be the most positive experience anymore. I'm sorry. Just a lot of woe. It's like, you want to go into this and it's positive experience, not your debut and the note of pushing someone off a bridge is on your character now. That's where I was coming from. And I do not wish ill will on anyone ever, but I was just ultimately traumatized and drained. Like, if this is commissioning, fuck it. So I vent to her and I said, I'm not okay after what happened. I'm heartbroken, I'm upset, and I need you to know that, I'm not gonna say that. I lost family, basically. And she replies, I'm so sorry for your loss, Nike. Even though these things never go away, you can be strong in the face of it. Thanks to your support, I'm currently trying not to die. And then sent me pictures of her in bed with medical equipment. I try to humor her a little bit, going back and forth, but was just put off by it all. This file is for the wrong date. So it was just like showing me proof that it was a lie, essentially. But I was like, whatever, I'm emotionally done with it. And that's it. So there we go. A lot of these images are just back and forth and me posting on like Toy House and stuff, talking about how my experience was and that I ultimately was heartbroken by it all. There's like videos here as well of me recording the entire conversations, as well as the, let me see. I'll pull this up. The rigging video. Oh my god. Imagine you wait so long and this is your update, dude. Hold on. Look at her. Bro. I was like, can you just like send me that, please? I have not done Battlefield Open Beta. But yeah, that was my update. And I was just like, okay, well, can you give it to me? Like, but if you know rigging, it's like, what the flip is that? Let me see what this other file is. Yeah, this was the one that made me laugh. I actually cried when I seen this. Because I was just like, it was like, is this what VTubering is like? Anyways, there's a lot of back and forth, some other logs as well as comments from me that I posted on her pages, etc. But that is the gist of it. So, aside from this experience, just a guide, a small mini guide into what I'm trying to express here. Beware. Beware with who you commission, especially. I would go with tried and true, like popular artists sometimes too. I don't want to shy away from smaller artists because I've met some amazing, amazing people. It's just becoming more vetted in like, okay, I see this person is posting a commission that they completed every other week. That's awesome. I can trust them. Or somebody that's like, they clearly make VTubers and they're posting them non-stop, not just once in a blue moon, etc. That's kind of helped me find like where I could get my piece in the community. Outside of this, I've also ran into other issues where they'll take the money, don't get back to you, long delays, etc. Just a repeat of that experience. I steer away from Discord artists now. Like, there's a lot of Discord art communities. I prefer going through something like VGen or Ko-Fi or Boosty is kind of off, but there's some nice artists there. Just finding where you feel like you belong, commissioning one thing at a time, especially, just so you can vet them and build an active business relationship with someone, has helped me as well. I ended on a very, very bad note, but I don't want it to be the end, because it's like, it's a lot of money to waste. It's not going to be perfect, but yeah. I just wanted to kind of express my side and view of things. But yeah. I am done. Completed. That was a lot of talking. So, I wish I had a bigger, powerful, more, like, message, but it's just my experience so far, being new to this stuff, my first taste of the backlash. One experience I had, for instance, is I saw like the hate in the community. They will cancel an artist, for instance. You see a lot of hate, and you want to support that person. So, for instance, I saw there was somebody getting canceled, and I immediately wanted to be supportive. So I reached out, I commissioned them, I ended up becoming a moderator for them, and still the backlash was still there. They would even start attacking anybody associated with them. I'll be right back. Sorry, I had to run. I was like, I have to go. But it's something I also noticed too is the cancel culture of the communities is wild as well, and it's very biased and sometimes completely unfair. I've been the target of that myself, and I don't want to see that a lot. Especially with smaller artists, they just get started, you encounter jealousy, etc., and people will do anything to get you off the platform, and so that's something to also beware of. And I don't know how to successfully navigate avoiding that, other than if you are like me and you want to be in the community in some kind of way. The best way is probably to build your own. Create a safe space for you that feels healthy. Don't create for money, create out of curiosity. Something that I learned from David Cho especially is if I want to do art, I want to do it because it makes me happy. I'm curious and I can express it in my own way rather than depending on it. And I support the people that I do care about. I've built some strong connections with small artists that I absolutely adore. And that's the biggest takeaway from all of that is through that navigating, just finding your own sense of home. And struggling with identity is a big one, especially when you're trying to represent a persona, a character, has been hard as well. Stay true to yourself, or if you are like many creatives, you can't stick with one persona, just keep creating and pursue that. But yes, that is what it is. Not sure why it says I'm playing Peak. What the heck? I just saw that. There we go. That is insane. This entire time I thought it said that I was just chatting. Wow. Yeah, okay. I don't have too much else to wall talk about. But this has been my experience thus far. And now I feel like I'm going to be entering a new chapter where I finally have a rig artist that I absolutely trust. I have a concept artist that I absolutely trust. My reference sheet is finally coming into fruition, and I feel like we're getting into the next step of actually creating the character of my dreams, and I will be able to try debuting normally. I don't really know too much about it or like how to go about it, and that's its own struggle, but I want to just start getting into the habit of pushing and trying and just being creative and not letting it be the end of me, because it's a huge damper, but it shouldn't be the end. I left the art community so long ago, only to come back to a new futuristic topia of it. And I'm only excited for how the future will be. I'm really, really excited. I'm nervous at the same time, but I want it to be something positive. And I have no hate for this person that did this to me or any of the other artists that I've struggled with, but it's a nice beware. And when somebody shows you that they don't value your money the first time around, don't keep feeding them. Just find somebody who will do backflips and kung fu for it, because that makes it so much more better and has allowed me to find people that I actually can trust. And so don't hesitate to let go is the biggest key as well. When someone shows you that they're not willing to be there, let go. I know you want to hold on to it, but please let go and move on, even for your sake especially. Thank you, Effie. I hope. I'm excited. I want to try commissioning. Like, this will feel like my first time actually commissioning, like going to somebody on Skeb even, or Twitter, and just being like, do this, do that. I'm excited to try that out and experience it for the first time as well. So, my fingers crossed to that. And thank you, Tragic Miracle. It's wonderful meeting you. I will probably end it here straight on the 3 flat 3-hour line. And I thank you for listening to me. I just needed to get this out there, or at least say my piece, and then move on from it and let go and not let these experiences take hold of my entire existence in art. It's so sweet. And I hope you had a good day. I want to try to come up with a schedule, especially. Technically, I'm I'm working all night. I will be awake for the next 6+ hours. I don't know what to yap about though. Fellow night shifter, I feel your pain. Yeah, I just started too. And I work 11-hour shifts, so I won't be off until like 7 a.m. Actually, I'm so addicted to phone games. I feel like such a boomer. I like scroll through Instagram and it gives me an ad game and I'm like, you know what? Downloads it. I play all of them just for fun. I like idle games, especially for people that are like us who have to work the night shift and can't really be preoccupied with an intensive game. One of my favorite games on the computer, I will say, is Tavern Master. You just build a tavern. You could just sit there and watch it do its thing. Just do a few clicks. I'm addicted. Another game that I loved playing was like, I think it was called Landlord something. It was a landlord game. I had so many tenants. They were living well. Just fun ad games. I love them. What I hate, what really upsets me now, is there's not a single freaking game that I could find that doesn't have an ad every couple minutes. It sucks so bad. Some, you might be able to find some that don't, but mostly all of them just want you to watch ads every couple freaking minutes. I've seen people playing Uma Musume. I really want to try it. I don't know if, is it a mobile game? By the way, I'm sorry about the Bob Ross ambient music in the background. I don't pay into the gacha, promise. I don't. The only thing I'll do is watch annoying ads. I want to try the Uma Musume game. Oh goodness, I felt that. I worked in IT for over 7 years. Now I'm in like what feels like a crossroads of media and IT. It's still monitoring. It's like a glorified monitoring position. You just monitor alerts, report on them. Minimal troubleshooting. Nothing intensive. But I feel you. It's like you're working all the time, but you have plenty of time to yap and do things on the side. A little. A little. I couldn't play like an MMO or anything. I'd get way too distracted. But it's good. I have to multitask because otherwise I go brain dead and you swear you start gaslighting yourself. You're like, did I make that ticket? Where did I get these details? Did I actually research this? Like, it becomes secondhand nature. I have to limit myself. Okay, my addiction right now is spending money on JPEGs that I don't need. That's another thing that people do not talk about in the art community is getting addicted. The FOMO effect. Feeling like I have to have it or I'm never gonna have it and I'm not gonna be complete without it. Falling into that trap. It's like gambling. You're like, oh my god, look at this anime character. Look at that character. Holy heck. Oh, $500? I mean, like, maybe I could spend a PS5 on it. You fall for the trap of it, and now you're just like, you're in this cycle of not really having anything, but having everything. That's something that I fell into hard, and I need to quit. Otherwise, I probably would be spending a lot of money on gacha games. Maybe I should switch. Like, the reality is, I'm sitting here, I have like 350 plus characters. Who does that? Who does that? I'd like to think I've become vetted in the community of being a money, what is called cash cow. Yeah, it probably would be. It was a lot cheaper to do that or like IMVU or something and just decorate a character. Yeah, I'm such a bad spender. For me, it'll be like, I'll grab all the trinkets and stuff for an outfit, but then not put it together. I just have a bunch of stuff. I don't know how I've survived listening to this soundtrack for the past 3 hours. I feel like I'm in the back rooms. I will probably hide my YouTube thing here as well. And I will continue to yap, why not? I'm gonna be here, though I don't have too much to say. Actually, that was silly of me, let me do this. Lately, I've been kind of addicted to playing Peak by myself. It's so depressing, I love it. It's like there's something therapeutic about it. You're here by yourself, looking at this huge mountain, and you have no idea how to climb it. And you're trying, and you fall alone. And do you just give up? Do you die, or do you keep climbing? There's something that hits different when it's just you by yourself. I would love to play. I'm really bad at asking people for stuff. I always wait until I'm invited. Otherwise, I'll just like open it and just do like a little ritual where I play by myself, run up, and then I'll give up and then quit the game and be sad. Another weird clicky idle game that I'm addicted to is Bongo Cat. It's just a little Steam app that keeps track of your typing and your clicking. And I'll just sit there and just click and stare at it. There are some games I want to finish, but I can never push myself to. Aw, that's so mean. I'm sorry. For me, it's like, I have a few friends that are very extroverted. They'll like have a whole lobby full of people, and I like get so overwhelmed, I get quiet. I'll just sit there in the lobby like, help. Oh, I like Baldur's Gate. I've not finished it. I probably should do that. Elden Ring, I tried to launch in a stream and my sound driver died. Like, it sounded like metal scraping against metal. It was so bad. I was moving at like 1 FPS. My cursor was lagging slowly across the screen. It took me so long to make my character. I finally did and I closed out of it. I want to try to play it again, but for some reason my computer is not optimized. It was so bad. And then when I go to look at the stream playback, it was just casual. It sounded normal, and I'm just like, how dare you do that to me? Oh my goodness. Also, I guess it's a good time to talk about this, because I know now that you work in IT, are you also getting nervous with automation? A lot of what I'm noticing in my field especially, it's like constantly changing. I don't know how to keep up anymore. I don't know how to play League, to be honestly. I have it. My friend tried to teach me, but I was stuck on bot lane. I noticed that. I noticed that. Actually, yes, I noticed that. That is incredibly insane, and I wonder if people are going to talk about it. When I was working in IT, the same thing started happening, and they gave me the boot. I was competing with an AI named Amelia from IPsoft. She was able to do 5,000 tickets, I believe, in a week when she was first onboarded, which is insane. I was like, gosh darn it. Oh yes, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find something, okay, what would be stable and not so like having to be innovative, because I'm getting boomer brain. I can't keep up. I wish you the best on that. I know that tech support for hospitals is intense, very intense, but very rewarding at the same time. I was like thinking too, like, okay, do I stick with hardware? Do I go database? Do I go security? What has the most security for me? That's been the biggest argument right now.